Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn, aka Kris, you're being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. So if you're a first-time viewer and you want to keep the conversation on the painting side of things, be sure to ask your questions in the chat, whichever direction it might be in for you. And of course, if you're watching this after the fact, you can submit your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all this silliness has the links to all the social medias, as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there. And there's only one rule for the Discord. There's only one rule. Don't be a dick. That's it. That's the only rule. Don't be a dick. Also at wayofthebrush.com, you'll find a link for Patreon. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, this channel would not be able to continue to endure. And so a huge thank you to all my patrons and brand new patrons and all the other patrons for their continued support. And a huge thank you to everybody who does. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, following, subscribing, commenting, ringing the bell, all that stuff, smash keyboard. Helps a great deal. All it takes is a couple clicks of a button and you're helping me out a great deal. So a huge thank you to everybody who does that as well. Big thank you to Carl, Guymere Alfer, Beer and Blood Bowl YouTube channel. Check it out if you love yourself some beer, you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. We always take time to thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segments of the show. And so always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro, outro music that plays at the begin and end of the show. And so always much love to my baby bro Evan. And of course, if you're into rare comics, EB Comics, it's in the description below. Rare comics. We're talking rare. If you can think of it right off the top of your head, not rare enough. We're talking rare, like Hangaber rare, like raw Hangaber. Who's joining us today? I can see Evan Belleau. Sup, everybody? Sup? Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Monkey Time. Oi, jeez Louise. George Hintz with the Twitch Prime. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ghost of Starman. Monkey Time. Been playing around with the kill team Nachmund for the past week. Cool. Yeah? Did you get the Corsairs together, or did you do the Chaos Duders first? Or did you get them both done? Did you get all that terrain done? Man, that box has a whack ton of terrain. I have all the terrain from the Kill Team starter sets in one box in the Nachmund. Anyway, in that box, and yeah, it's thick enough to choke a mule. It can choke a mule, for God's sakes, people. It's gonna choke somebody. It's a choking hazard. This entire box. Anyway, so I was thinking that I probably I kind of want to get to work on that stuff, because I also have a bunch of the Necromunda as well, the floor tiles and the terrain and everything like that. So I definitely need to start getting in on some of this terrain business, because yeah, the only other thing though is I don't have a lot of room for terrain. I mean, I suppose I can make room, but that would require more shelving. More shelves in my already limited space. Lord Krabby, sup party peoples, sup Lord Krabby, Sophie, wow, afternoon monkeys and Kris, afternoon Sophie, Sir Peanut Butter, morning Kris and peeps, morning, Fire Drake, hello Kris and monkeys, hello, yeah, so it's another beautiful Saturday. I'm sure many of you who follow this channel will have noticed that I posted a unbox video for the Shining Spears and Avatar of Cain, and yeah, I'm working on it. I actually have not gotten a chance to work on it all week, and I'm like, okay, because as many of you know, I'm talking about this in Discord, because I haven't done any live streaming this week either. I haven't gotten any projects done. Been doing all the other stuff, but yeah, I don't know when I'm going to fit time in for streaming, other than like late at night. But that's making some long ass days. Long days. If I start streaming at like fuck, I don't even know, like 7, 8. 7 is about the earliest I could start streaming in the evenings. So yeah, and it just makes for a long fucking day. I mean, I could try and get them done. I can try and like finagle things in the middle of the day, but unfortunately, the way my family's schedule works, basically, I'm playing chauffeur essentially because I'm the only one with a flexible schedule, and so yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying, but you know, you got to do it, right? You got to do it. You got to do what you got to do. So. Fire Drake, terrain is overrated. Open warfare is the ticket. Waversburg, how tall is the Avatar? The Avatar he is roughly the same. Now I'm only going to show you. Yeah, I'm only going to show you guys the back of him. I started work on him, and I have not gotten as far as I want on him. But yeah. I've got to finagle something just because right now he's at that awkward stage of like, oh my god, what have I done? And I'm sure we all go through this process, especially when we're kind of making stuff up. And I definitely did not want to do it like my other Avatar because I have the Forge World one with the spear, and yeah, but they're about the same height. So if you already have the Forge World Avatar, that he is probably like a notch taller, a notch. But I like this one's proportions better. The Forge World one feels very tall and thin. More Eldar-ish, sure. But this one feels... He's got a much broader stance to him as opposed to the Forge World one where he's kind of... It's almost old school in how he's posed. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like he could be cast as like a single piece. And so it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, I've been working on him. I actually have not worked on him all week. I'm like... 5 days I'm like, okay, I'll get this done, just, you know, from making videos and stuff like that, and just, you know, yeah, it's a pain in my ass right now. It's a pain in my ass. But I mean, are you looking for like an actual dimension of how tall he is? I mean, there's plenty of pictures to demonstrate how tall he is in comparison to everything else. I mean, it's a big model. It's a big model. It's not gigantic. I was kind of hoping he'd be like Greater Demon of Khorne size. That was the size I was hoping for, being considerably larger than the Forge World Avatar, but he's basically the same height as the Forge World one. So, you know, take from that what you will. Sophie, sounds like you need either a bigger house with more rooms or an extension build for a large hobby room, game room, display room, and storage room. Yeah, if we're gonna sink money into things, then I'd rather just get an office. I'd rather just get a studio space rather than attaching or building or, you know, yeah. Like the money you'd sink into like reno, you might as well just sink into a rental or a lease for commercial space. Ghost of Starman Deluxe got all the Corsairs built and the Chaos Duders are mostly put together, but I want to do a lot of the conversion work on them, and all my marine bits are at home, so I can't finish them off just yet. Oh, okay, yeah, because you're at school, but you don't have like all your stuff with you. Gotcha. Yeah, it can be kind of a pain. Yeah, getting all the Corsairs built, right, especially if you don't have other Eldar stuff, yeah, it's not a big deal, you know, it's pretty self-contained, but yeah, with the Chaos, yeah, you kind of feel like, yeah, you know, I got this bit at home, got more axes, got Khorne bits, got Nurgle bit, you know what I mean? Yeah, you have all the other additional bits, especially if you're a long-time Chaos player, right? Yeah, I hear you. Wait. I heard that. Fire Drake 18, paint more Space Marines. Stop trying to preserve a dead race. But Space Marines aren't a race. Space Marines aren't a race. Trying to preserve a dead race. I'm not trying to preserve anything. I prefer the aesthetics of Eldar over Space Marine. Space Marine stuff, Imperium stuff in general, is just too blocky for me. It's really generic. And in fact, I think that's why you see so much third-party sculptors and stuff like that make so many things that are compatible for Imperium type stuff, right? Not just because, you know, a lot of players play Imperium stuff, but because it's easier to sculpt, right? Because the lines are all just straight lines. right? Versus like Eldar. Like you ever see some third-party Eldar stuff? It's not as clean. It's not as clean. And then, of course, yeah, just so they don't get sued out of existence, they got to add extra details and stuff like that and change up, you know, the sculpt that they're trying to imitate. And yeah, because you don't obviously don't want to get in copyright infringement or anything like that, get sued out of existence, right? So yeah, but no, I mean, Imperium stuff, it's boring. It's boring. It's all boxes. A Rhino, Land Raider, Predator, even some of the Mechanicus stuff is just boxes, you know. Although some of the Mechanicus stuff is kind of cool, and it feels like it comes from a more sophisticated kind of time period in the Imperium, right? Because they're supposed to be like their tech should be pre-Imperium kind of thing. So, yeah, it's cool. But I mean, I don't care for Imperial aesthetics though. It's boring. It's boring. Tyranids are way more interesting. Eldar's way more. Even orcs. Orcs you can have a bit of fun with because you can use whatever, right? You know, it's just slapped together, right? Kind of thing. It's just a mess. It's a collage. Necron's, you know, some of the aesthetics are almost similar to Eldar, and I think that's intentional so that they feel like those were the two ancient races, you know, doing battle way back in the day kind of thing. Who else is there? Drukhari, all the Eldari stuff is, you know, I would lump together as far as aesthetics, because, you know, dark Eldar and regular Eldar, they, you know, it's like Imperium and Chaos, right? I mean, like there's extra doodads on the evil one as opposed to the, you know, the not evil one. But yeah, what other armies are there? Oh, Tau. Yeah, Tau is another fun one because they have a combination of curvatures and straight lines. They're a nice little blend of it versus like Eldar, where Eldar does have that similar thing, but there is more negative space in Eldar designs as opposed to Tau, right? Tau feels closer to like an Imperial type of thing where, you know, it's very recognizable kind of shapes versus Eldar where, you know, you have negative space like a Falcon's hull, right? It's got the two parts in the front and then you have this negative space in between. Why? Don't know. Just, it's cool looking, right? It just looks cool. So yeah, it's just different aesthetics, but I don't really care for like Space Marine aesthetics. It's just blocks, right? Waversburg, 7 p.m. stream sounds amazing, to be honest. It's about when I'm home and settled. Yeah, I know, but again, though, like you're already talking about like, okay, like if we're in a normal work day, that's like me getting started to work at like 10 p.m. after your work day of working 9 to 5 kind of thing, right? That's what it equates to. I don't really feel like doing that. I could, but I might as well take up, you know, doing coke or something like that, because who has the energy for that? Evan Belleau, you should enter the box of terrain in the Mule Choker Championship in, what is that? Appalachia this May? What? I don't know what that word is. Sounds like an easy first place entry to me. Yeah. Cucking. I got bored and started hydro dipping gold leaf. You're putting the gold leaf on the water and then you're dunking through? It sits on the surface just fine? Is it malleable enough that you can, because most of the gold leaf I've ever played with, it's still like, because oftentimes it's on that waxier paper, right? And you lay it on the surface. And I mean, obviously it's more intended for, you know, pages and scrapbooking and these kinds of things. It's not really intended for, you know, 3-dimensional surface, although you can, but if the angles are too steep or, you know what I mean, it just kind of becomes a bit of a pain. Or are you taking it off the sheets and then applying it and then, you know, applying it? Because hydro dipping gold leaf, that's interesting. You might have to post a video of the tutorial you're following or a video of your efforts. That'd be cool too. So yeah, please share. Fire Drake, more space. You have a little brother. Show up at the house, claim and manifest destiny, and claim the space you need. Works every time. I have a little brother. Yeah, my brother, though, my brother's like, he lives like 9 hours away. Most of my family are 9 hours away. Most of them. So, it's not really a viable plan. I'm not going to drive 9 hours to go steal somebody's fucking space and then come all the way home. I mean, you're like, fucking, I might as well just fucking move there at that point. And I sure as hell do not feel like moving back up there. The Wannabe Painter. Hey folks, hope you're having a nice weekend so far. Just a few minutes of the show. Have to keep an eye on the kids. I love the new Chaos Knight model from the preview. Yes, the new Chaos model, the new Chaos Knight. I didn't really do, like, I did the live stream when they were showing everything and, you know, getting, you know, doing the reactions and, you know, sharing thoughts on all this stuff. I really like that Chaos Knight. I really liked the tentacle whip arm. And it wasn't until the presenters pointed out that, yeah, it had that old school vibe to it. And I was like, yeah, it does. Because, yeah, the old Chaos Warlord Titans, there was a bit. And the way the old Titans looked, the big Beetlebacks, they had, like, different pewter add-ons. Like, they were plastic bodies, but they had pewter add-ons, which was pain in the ass. But, yeah, and I remember the big tentacle lash whip was really cool. That's apparently a tentacle lash whip for anybody. That's the pantomime for it. Anyway, yeah, the Chaos Knight was very cool. The Chaos box set. I know we were talking about it in the Discord. I know Kim was bringing it up about how many models are in it, and I'd speculate it's 2 knights with 2 of those little the little duders, or it's 1 knight and 2 or 3 of those little duders. Although that's speculation, because you look at the one picture that showed the knights with the little duders, like the big group shot. I would suspect that is the box. But that seems like a lot. But maybe it's a big box. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm lost now again. Yelby, hey daddy, hey. Fire Drake 18, Space Marines, boring. There are so many chapters, and they can't help being blocky. That's how the Emperor made them. Body shaming Space Marines. I'm not body shaming Space Marines. I'm shaming their design aesthetic. Like a rhino. Their rhinos are just little blocks. And the new Primaris rhino, or whatever the fuck it's called, the Repulsor, or whatever the fuck. Yeah, it looks like an eraser. Remember, like, you remember those erasers, the big erasers that were like cut in half? Like one was a really soft part and one was a really hard part, and it has that blocky shape with the forward curved edge and the back edge came that way, right? You know which ones I'm talking about? Those they were kind of chunky, thick erasers, right? Anyway, that's what those fucking tanks look like to me. That's what they look like. They just like, they saw an eraser and they said, "Ooh, you know what? This could be a rhino," and you know, it's just blocks. You know, there's no style. But I think that's the point. I think that's the point of Imperial stuff, is that there is no style to it or no pleasing aesthetic to it, because it's very utility, right? It's the nature of what the Imperium is. Again, the Imperium, like, if anybody thinks that the Imperium is a fun place, that sounds like, you know, a great vacation spots and, you know, like everybody's happy in the Imperium. No, the Imperium sucks. That's the point. Jimmy Hippity Hop. Kris, just straight lines and then instantly thinking of Space Marine flying box. Still want a Thunderhawk though. Yeah, I mean, Thunderhawks, like, are cool, iconic, you know. And I mean, anybody who wants to pick up one, I mean, like, by all means, pick one up for Aeronautica or for, you know, 40K scale. Personally, it's not something that I want. You know, I don't collect Space Marines, even though I'm sitting on a whole bunch of them. I don't collect them. I've been meaning to do a Crimson Fist army, but just haven't gotten around to it. And yeah, like a Thunderhawk. No, I'm not about Space Marine stuff. You know, and like the whole idea of Primaris and them having like a bunch of anti-grav tanks. It's completely silly. And yeah, it's basically, it's like the Imperium it's not the Dark Age of the Imperium anymore. It's some new age. The new age. and everything, and all the imagery that conjures up. And that's what it feels like, is, they're trying to take the Imperium out of darkness. But I think that's one of the problems with trying to move the universe forward. I don't think the universe needed to move forward at all. Because imagining all the different craziness that can happen within the Imperium, all the battles and all the things, that every one of our games that we play, imagine, for all the years that we've been playing, all of our games would have just been a fraction, a moment in time within the Imperium. Imagine how many games that all the gamers have played for 30 plus years of Warhammer 40,000, and that would have been just a fraction of all the battles that go on in the Imperium. And so the time period of the Imperium, of Warhammer 40,000, the game, it does not need to move forward, at least in very large chunks, because otherwise you might as well just do a whole new game. You might as well just do a whole new game, Warhammer 50,000 or 50K, whatever, right? And then you could just reintroduce the time jump of the Imperium of where it stood. So when Gilliman woke up and called his buddy Call on the horn and said, "Yo, I need some new Marines. I need some new tech, because we're redoing this Imperium thing. I want to keep going forward with Daddy's dream," right? So he calls him up on the horn and says, "Yo, send me some tanks, send me some Marines. What do you got? We got to figure out how to make more Space Marines again." And so then, through plot, they move the Space Marines forward, and you know what I mean? Like, and it didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. Moving the time forward and everything like that, it didn't need to happen. Warhammer 40,000 within the fixed universe, all the battles, all the things that we were doing, playing games, and we're all imagining that this battle was at this world at this time. I mean, who knows how long a battle will take on a planet in a particular setting, and you know what I mean? Like, talking about campaigns, and again, the time does not need to move forward for Warhammer 40,000. It's unnecessary. Striker A, have you painted the Forge World avatar? Any chance we get a comparison between the two and the new plastic one? If you have, once I get more paint on my new avatar, I'll do a picture. But again, it's fucking finding time to sit down and actually paint. And I haven't even filmed tutorials or anything like that. I have like hour here, hour there kind of thing, and it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, I mean, I will. I mean, I could take a picture of it right now, but I just don't want to show where the state of my avatar right now, because my avatar he's in that phase where you initially block out some color, and then you start trying to finesse things, and you start changing the way, you want to see how, you're building differences in value and levels of contrast. And yeah, it's not there yet. It's not anywhere where I can say, oh, here's a preview of what he looks like, right? I was meaning to, I just haven't gotten to it. Again, it's just this week, a lot of things changed in the household. So yeah. Anyway. Fuck, where the hell am I? Dark Commission, hey Kris and Monkeys. Damn, forgot daylight savings. Gotta go mow my lawn before I can sit and watch. LOL, beautiful spring day. Glad to be alive. Well, I'm glad it's sunny where you are. You're in the UK, so I'm kind of surprised. So you got your one day of sunshine already. Damn. It's cloudy today for us. Fire Drake 18, serious question. How do you clean dust from models without canned air? How do I do it without canned air? I have one of these brushes. This is a Citadel brush. This is either hog hair or horse hair. It's a little firm, but you just kind of, beat the shit out of it. But I use one of these brushes. But a lot of people use like a cheap makeup brush, which you get, similar kind of vibe, and then just gently. Don't use any dampness or anything like that. Use the brush perfectly dry, because if there's any dampness, which I have done, if there's any dampness in the bristles and you're moving the dust off the models, the moisture will mix with the dust and make a mud. and you end up with mud in the recesses of your figure. And if you wanted to retain clean, or if it was shiny and had clear parts or anything like that, yeah. So yeah, I often use just a brush like this and then just dust. But I know many people out there use like makeup brushes or, you know, anything like that. That's what I use. I wouldn't use anything firmer. I wouldn't use anything that is a liquid. Anything like that. I wouldn't do that. Don't do it. For God's sakes, don't do it. For God's sakes. Gail B. Bugs. They're in my teeth. Evan Belleau. Dust is best tackled with a dunk in a bath of simple green. Please don't listen to me. No, don't. I mean, if you want to strip your model, simple green. Dunk it in simple green. Like, just leave it there for an hour or two. And then just get a toothbrush and just scrub. But, yeah, it's a different topic. Ghost Starman. Pretty much all the stuff they showed off this week looks brilliant. The idea of a Psyker Chaos Knight is crazy awesome. Can't wait to sacrifice my wallet on the upcoming Horus Heresy box set. Horus Heresy. Yeah. That's going to be a thing. And those Space Marines, the Beaky Marines, in more proper anatomical stances and such, not always just kind of squat and, you know, like they're half sitting on the toilet kind of thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I might have to paint up one or two. And I mean, we've just gotten a teaser. We've only seen 2 of the models. I'm curious. The one I'm really curious about. Are they bringing back? You know, well, I mean, I know in Horus Heresy, I know the Forge World, they have that classic missile launcher, the one that has the clip on. Oh, Jesus, has the clip on top, and it has like that shield guard in the front and everything. I know they have that one, so I'm curious to see if they bring that. And the same with the flamethrower, the classic flamethrower with the big super soaker like jug on that and everything like that. Yeah, I'm curious. Strike Ray. Pink pet erasers? What? Yeah, the Horus Heresy box though. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. And I've watched that intro animation, that promotional animation. I've watched that I don't know how many times now. It's fucking brilliant. I love it. It's the moment where he initially throws the Marine down and he just looks over the battlefield and you could just see the massive battle. That moment there reminds me of the moment in Inquisitor, the book by Ian Watson, Inquisitor, where they come out of the webway and they're on some world and they don't know what world they're on, and all they can see is a carpet of soldiers and tanks, and it's 2 factions moving together, and they could see the Titans and everything walking, and then just laser beams and missiles, and you know what I mean, and everything's getting destroyed. And yeah, that's what that moment reminded me of. That one was really, really cool. I was like, wow, that's really awesome. Like that's the kind of imagery that has been, you know, in the back of brains for decades. And I really enjoyed that moment. And of course it has, like, the animation in that was fantastic. And I'm curious if the animation that was done there, if it's the same animators who did like the other promotional videos, or if it's anybody who is currently making like Warhammer Plus animations. I'm wondering if it's any of them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm just curious. You know. But yeah. I haven't looked deep into it or anything like that. I was just, you know, it's a curiosity. Lord Krabby. I love Primaris because they are blockish. They are great to paint, especially for newer players. Something about a Redemptor Dreadnought, though. He a sexy boy. Sophie, Space Marines ain't nice to paint because projects have a few and even thought about doing an Imperial Fist army, but I think I'll get bored about halfway through painting them. Yeah. Well, it all depends on your goals, right? And if you just really enjoy painting stuff, then yeah, your collection is just going to be all over the place, and you know, projects get completed on your whim, right? So as you continue to collect models and, oh wow, that box of Space Marines, there's 10 Space Marines in it. but you only want to paint, say, 4 of them. And so you have other 6 that never get painted and touched. And you see, oh, Eldar, and you want to paint up some Eldar models. And you also see, oh, Age of Sigmar, or, you know, Horsey Dooders, or, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is. And you just kind of bounce around like that. And that, if that's your goal, then, you know, carry on, keep doing it. But if your goal was to, say, you know, start an army and, you know, keep going, then yeah, you kind of have to be able to try and compartmentalize what you're working on. So, for example, if you, say, got the Get Started box, and it has, say, 2 troop units with, you know, a character and a support unit, like a dreadnought or a tank or whatever, right? You go get through 5 of the Marines, then do your character, then get your other 5 Marines done, then start on your support thing, and then get the other 5 done, and, you know, maybe work on some terrain, or, you know, start eyeballing up other things, and, you know, you kind of just parse it out like that, and eventually you will get through it. Now, if it's the idea of painting the one color scheme, like, for example, it's Imperial Fist, so you're painting just a lot of yellow. Yeah, I can see how that would get boring. You know, you get bored of that. You want to do other things. So, you know, maybe you find another model to cleanse your palette, as you were. Or, you know, if you want to practice different techniques, and it's a model that, you know, maybe it's a bust. Maybe it's not even Games Workshop model. Maybe it's a, you know, third-party sculpt of a bust, or it's another character, or, you know, whatever it is. And something where you can, you know, try out different techniques. Maybe you're not so confident in wet-on-wet blending, or, you know, working with, you know, black paint, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, you just kind of do a palette cleanser between projects of your main goal, right? Your main project being the building the Imperial Fist army, but, you know, you got to take breaks, and so maybe you work on another project one day, and then go back to working 2 days on your army, and then take another day to, you know, play and practice different things, and then, you know, and yeah, you'll find you'll get through your projects. I mean, yeah, you get through it eventually. Don't be in a rush. Gelby, it's like WD-40. Nobody wants WD-50. Exactly, right? It's just WD-40. Sid Tyler, in the grimier darkness of the far, far, far future. Warhammer 50,000. Sophie, use a makeup brush and store minis in tubs. Keeps the dust off. Yeah, store them in tubs. Yeah. Or have a display cabinet, or, yeah, stuff like that. Keep the dust off. Especially if dust is a problem in your home. Yeah. Lord Krabby, Warhammer 50,000, the Furies won. The Furries won? The Furries won. Dark times indeed. What? Fire Drake, thanks, Kris. Glad I asked. No one wants muddy models. No, exactly. Yeah, don't use a damp. Whatever implement you use, I would recommend an old makeup brush. An old makeup brush is pretty good. It's soft, it's gentle. You know, I use that one, and I haven't had any problems with it. Mind you, though, most of the models, when I am dusting them, they are varnished, so I'm not really that worried about pulling at paint or decals or, you know, anything like that, right? So that's the other reason why I'm not too concerned about that brush, as opposed to using a really soft makeup brush that just dust, right? So if you have not sealed your models and you've done a really good paint job and you have your models on display or whatever, yeah, use an old makeup brush and just take the model. If you have an airbrush, you can use the compressed air, just right. Even using just your airbrush, and just use your brush. Make sure the brush is dry, and just spritz it with air. You know, that's another way too. Instead of using canned air, yeah, just use your airbrush if you have an airbrush. Sir Peanut Butter, I'm hyped for Horse Heresy. Yeah, me too. I don't know if I'm hyped, but I am looking for it, and I'm curious. You know, I am curious. Sophie, it'll be a huge success if they did an animated series using the same animation as the preview. No idea why GW hasn't already done so apart from the Ultramarines movie. Because it's expensive. Making movies, TV shows, stuff like that, it's expensive. And yeah. I mean, there's a lot of risk involved with endeavors like that. That's why movie studios and such, they don't really go in for original projects. That's why we're in the state we're in with, Marvel and, DC and Star Wars, and you know what I mean? Because nobody wants to invest in an original idea. They want to play it safe because, again, making movies and TV shows is a business. It's a business. It started as an art form, but is now currently a business. You get some movies that treat it like an art form still, but it's still primarily a business. And yeah, it's money. It's money. It's always about the money. It's always about the money. So the reason why Games Workshop is very unlikely to, produce out of pocket a TV show or anything like that. Yeah, because it's expensive. Because if it fails, guess what? They're out millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. If they put out a bad model and it doesn't really sell, it's not that bad for them because they can recoup the costs elsewhere. But if they invest millions upon millions upon millions of dollars into a show and it completely fails, yeah, that's a huge loss. Which is why you see in movies, if you watch credits and stuff like that, you'll often always see a bunch of other, even at the start of the movie, right? So, for example, if it is a Warner Brothers movie, you'll see the Warner Brothers logo, you'll see Legendary's logo, you'll see, all the distributors, right? You'll see all these different companies who were involved in the project, not to mention all the people that it takes to make the movie, right? Because all those people have to get paid to work on the project, right? Even if they worked on it for one day, still got to get paid, still got to cut them a check, And yeah, then imagine all the talent. If you wanted to make this a really commercial endeavor where it's going to be streaming on Netflix and stuff like that, well, you got to throw some names in there. So you got to hire some actors. Well, guess what? A lot of these actors, especially if you get some famous ones, like when they did Space Marine, they got Terrence Stamp. And that was brilliant. And that was about the only saving thing about that project. Because that animation sucked. Sound design wasn't that good, So, yeah, a lot of money's got to go into a project like that. And then, of course, even if they did a series, what is the immediate return? Right? Because, like, for example, if they did a TV show and it goes to Netflix, well, Netflix has got to give them money because they're going to stream it on their platform. And then, of course, there's ad revenue. But then if the movie does not, or the show does not do well and it gets, pulled early, again, it's a big failure, right? Versus a movie where, they put it in the theaters or something like that. At least, you know what I mean? There's money. It's a rapid influx of money. That's why, movies are such a big business because, a lot of money can be, derived from ticket sales, right? Whereas streaming platforms, it's basically you got to get, a cut of that subscriber fee. That's essentially what, everybody's clamoring for, is a little cut of your, if you get Netflix and you get a cut of that $10 subscription money you send them every month, right? So, yeah. It's unlikely anytime soon, It would be awesome, but it's unlikely. The Wannabe Painter. Have to go. Have a nice one, folks. See you soon. Later, dude. Lord Krabby. GW needs to do a live action movie. Something small. Obviously, maybe Nids and Marines. That Horse Heresy intro was amazing. Yeah. Again, a live action film. I mean, like, doing anything live action. Like, I watched that first episode of Halo. That just came out this week, Thursday. And it wasn't bad. I'm not a big fan of the game. I know very little of the universe, but apparently the show is not canon as far as like all the other, I guess, the books and the video games and stuff. So, I thought the effects are really good. It is a lot gorier than I thought. And when it happened, I finished, like, as I watched it, my son had watched the episode and then I watched it later on, and yeah, the big complaint that a lot of people were making, I made immediately, and I was like, so I guess I'm right there with the rest of the nerds, I guess, because yeah, but it was interesting, you know. Um, I wasn't particularly fired up for a Halo show, you know. I watched some of the featurettes on it and how a lot of them, the studio 343, how they're, you know, trying to keep a very consistent visual style going on in the show, as far as like, you know, how the armor looks, how the weapons look, how everything, you know. And I liked the fact that some of the sound effects are like right out of the game. They're pretty cool. Like again, it's pretty cool, but something like that is not cheap to produce. Even something like that, where you know you have tons of cosplayers who, you know, have armor and stuff like that, and you know what I mean, like, you know, because like for example, like in Star Wars, like Mandalorian, they just got, you know, fans, the 501, and said, yeah, you guys want to come in, we're going to be part of this show, and they had a bunch of extras, and they had a bunch of people who had their own armor, and you know what I mean. That's cost savings right there. That's just good marketing and allowing those guys to take part in that, and that is awesome. I think that's awesome. Like, that's the kind of thing, you know. So again, making a live action feature, it has a lot of hurdles, and because Games Workshop's so protective of their IP, you know, I'm sure just working out a contract on what is going to be shown, what is going to be, you know, talked about, and how things are portrayed, and, you know, the tone and everything like that. Like, again, I'm sure, you know, that would be a long process. That'd probably give me, I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. So, Burrs Grow Cash. Hello, Burrs. Burrs. No mayo. Comic book movies are paying creators, artists, residuals for their work from decades back. Sure. Yeah, I assume that's the way it always works. I mean, like, for example, yeah, paying creators and artists residuals for their work. Sure. I mean, it's all part of those deals that get written. And if you got a shite lawyer when these deals are written, I mean, you're going to end up out of money. Because, for example, like Friends, the TV show Friends from the 90s, those people earn like $1 million a month. And they don't even work. They earn $1 million a month from the residuals from the syndication rights of Friends. Each of those cast members, just the cast, $1 million like a month. It was something like that. I can't remember. It's like $20 million a year or something like that they earn just off the residuals. Man, you know. Le Lion Noir, unbelievable. Way of the Brushes live. Hello to you all, Monkey and Lord. Welcome, Lion. Gail B, yes, Halo, yeah. I enjoyed it. You know, am I fired up for the next episode? Yeah, sure. I mean, again though, like the big thing that everybody was complaining about, it kind of ruins the mystique. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't watched it, but yeah. And if in the show we see the kind of jumping that you get in the video game, yeah, I'll fucking tune right away. I'll tune out. If I see Spartans doing jumping and going for no explicable reason, and everybody's just jumping around, I mean, people tell me that they have boosters on their back. I don't see fuck all for boosters, and I sure shit didn't see that in the show. And that motherfucker, when he drops in, he hits the fucking ground like he's banging. He superhero lands. Why he superhero lands, I have no idea. Like it doesn't make sense really to drop a super soldier out of a fucking aircraft that's a mile up, let him impact into the ground, take a moment before he runs out and starts blazing away into the enemies. Like, wouldn't you think that it'd be more effective for him to drop in as a super soldier, gun spraying as he has the high vantage point over everybody, and slow his descent with jetpacks and then come down at the ground or come down at his high vantage point so that he can continue to hit targets, right? Like your sniper. The sniper should have landed somewhere where they had a clear view of the battlefield and they can sit there and puck, 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 right? Like, these are just simple ass combat tactics, right? And it's just whatever. I know it's made up bullshit. I know it's whatever. Anyway. Fire Trick 18, maybe something simple like a movie following an apprentice inquisitor. That way you have the freedom to take the story wherever you want. Yeah, a story about an inquisitor would be cool. I mean, again, like Warhammer 40,000, like there's so much room to tell all sorts of different kinds of stories. Funny stories, scary stories, dramatic stories, romance stories, you know, like there's all sorts of room within the realm of Warhammer 40,000. It's just, it has to be well written. So you have to get a good writer. That's the first step to making anything successful in any of these TV shows, you know, commercials, movies, whatever. It starts with the writer. You need a good writer. Otherwise, it's complete crap. It's complete crap. Right? Gail B, the plasma damage is way more accurate to the books. Yeah, like when people are getting blown up and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, that video, I fucking watched that like, I don't know, 20 times, probably, at least. No Mayo. Lots of money involved for movies, TVs based on pre-existing material. Sure. But again, it costs a lot of money. And we live in an age where movie studios and such do not want to take a chance on these IP. Look at Warcraft as a recent example. Warcraft is a much beloved, very popular IP. Did the movie do well? Not in North America. And that's about the quality I would expect of a Warhammer 40,000 movie. Somebody who's to produce a Warhammer 40,000 movie, whichever studio, yeah, that's about the similar quality I would expect out of it. Like, it would take somebody who really has an eye for the kind of storytelling. And no, we're not talking about characters like Denis Villeneuve, who, you know, just did Dune, to do it, because he stays very true to the source material, but it's also source material that is much beloved by him. And if he has like no feelings towards Warhammer 40,000, and he took on a project like that, it would be crap. His heart wouldn't be in it. You know what I mean? And so, again, it's a top-down type fucking scenario. I mean, you got to find a good writer, and then you got to find all the crew, studios. You got to find the money. Like, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars that you're talking about just to get this shit off the ground. We're talking millions of dollars invested just to get this project rolling, just to get anybody talking about it, just to get anybody sitting down and take meetings on this stuff. It takes millions. So you got to find a bazillion different investors. Now, mind you, I don't think that anybody making a Warhammer 40,000 project would have a lot of trouble finding investors, finding people with money, mainly because this hobby caters to people with large amounts of disposable income. So there is that. Captain Spasmo, they eat a lot of beans. Huh? I don't know what that means. Sophie, I bet Kris would queue for days at the cinema if they did an Eldar versus Marine movie and probably mess his shorts over the preview. Possibly. It all depends. Again, that's like, for example, let's say this hypothetical Eldar and Marine Army Marine movie. What studio's producing it? Who's directing it? Who wrote it? Who's starring in it? Right? Those are already 4 points that you have to, even before a trailer's released, even before, you know, any of that. Those are the first questions that are going to come up. And if it's crap, not going to be interested, right? And nobody's going to go see it. And it's going to flop, and it's going to be a disaster, and it's going to cost a shit ton of money. And it'll be 30 years before anybody even looks at another project with that title or associated with that IP. If it flops, nobody will touch it with a 10-foot pole for years. For years upon years. Yeah. Everybody wants it. The fans want it. But how many fans are there really? Is it enough? Like, for example, Warcraft. Millions and millions and millions of people. That game is played by millions and millions of people all over this planet. People love it. People sit there and watch Twitch streams of it for hours on end. Love it. Make a movie. And doesn't do very well. And it has one or two familiar faces in it. The effects aren't terrible. The storytelling was very wishy-washy, really. Again, with that Warcraft movie, I thought the story dealing with the orcs was far more compelling than the story they were telling with the humans. And we didn't even get dwarves or elves in that show, which, you know, everybody who's into Warcraft wants it. Orcs, humans, elves, and dwarves. Right? Oh. What? I gaff. It's Boop. Discord. Boop being Boop. Probably pissed out of his gourd at Adepticon right now. What time is it? It's like 11:53 for them. Yeah, so he's just getting lunch. He's probably got a headache. I'm willing to bet Boop's got a headache right now. Let's see if Boop comments on this, like either today or days from now. Oh, he said he took golden demon pics. Yeah, well, post them, motherfucker. Post that shit. Share it on Discord. That's why I made that channel in Discord, for God's sakes. Share that shit. Anyway, where am I? Oh, Warcraft movie. Yeah, so, you know, like, apparently that one did better in China than it did in North America. North American audiences didn't show up for Warcraft. And so, do you think a Warhammer 40,000 movie is going to be received like, say, Dune or Warcraft? Two huge sci-fi properties. Well, Warcraft's more fantasy, but point being, right? Very limited audiences. Is Warhammer 40,000's audience on par with Warcraft and Dune? Do you think it's the same numbers? Passing, maybe. But die-hard fans, the people who are going to harass studios to make a movie about this property, is the audience that big? To convince the studios to say, oh, geez, we're getting hit by 100 million fans. 100 million fans. We better take notice of this, because that's 100 million ticket prices that we can charge, and they can factor in what they possibly can take in from this, right? That's how they gauge it. It's money. Again, it's always money. Money, 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 money. Sid, if you tried shooting a gun in freefall, would that really work? Shooting a gun in freefall? Yeah, fucking right, would work. What do you mean, would it work? You crazy, man? Yeah. Come on, you're falling, the gun fires, bang, and that bullet travels. Yes, it takes on some of the properties of that downward motion, but I'm sure a Spartan could compensate for that downward movement. And of course, if he's slowing himself in his descent, because apparently he has boosters on his back somewhere, his descent would slow, and so that change would not have to be compensated for quite as hard. But yeah, I mean, that downward motion being slowed because he's not falling at terminal velocity, whatever planet they're on. But again, in sci-fi, it's always assumed these fucking planets that we're taking part of all have the same gravity as Earth. It's always the Earth gravity, right? Because it's, you know, again, to accurately represent different gravities and stuff like that, it requires more special effects. And I keep hitting that. Anyway. So, yeah. I mean, if we're going to get really into the weeds about all this shit, then yeah, I mean, sure. You can fire the gun on a downward motion. Even a sniper. Have you ever played the game? You do a jump, and you'll float forever, apparently, in fucking Halo, and you can make all those shots as you're floating through the air and fucking, you know what I mean? If you could do it in a video game, you could do it in reality, right? Because video games are reality. Gilby, I just want to see Mommy Riz 028 bust up some elites again. I have no idea what that is. But I'll say cool. Sid Tyler, I'm a couple minutes behind, LOL. But yeah, Halo show sounds like it sucks. They basically had all the hard work done for them and said, nah, screw it. We're going to throw all that out and do something new. Well, that's taking a chance. Just deviating from the source material. Die-hard fans, yeah, I'm sure are probably not happy about that. But, you got to take it good with the bad. Because, like, with the main story of the show or the video game, what's the point of watching a show if you already know how it's all going to happen, right? Unless, of course, the director, who's going to take creative choices, shifts and changes the perspective of how the story is being told. But then people go, oh, no, I don't like it. Oh, no. See, unfortunately, fan bases, Star Wars, Star Trek, pick any intellectual property of any standing, Marvel, DC, whatever. These fan bases are the most toxic and the worst for creative outlets such as TV, music, film, right? The worst. And yeah, if it is, and the thing is like people who are fans of the books or the written material, yeah, I mean, it's a completely different picture in their mind. And so when they see what's on TV and the screens and the big screen, and it doesn't jive with what they imagined, immediate disappointment. Oh, hate it. Because it doesn't meet their expectation. And there are a lot of people who enjoy a lot of this intellectual properties who do not have the necessary intellectual capacities to not expect and to allow people who make these choices the creative freedom to present something in a new light. People immediately fly off the handles. And that's why these fan bases get bad raps. Because, and I completely agree, even though I consider myself part of these fan bases, I agree though that these fan bases are toxic and people are idiots, basically. I'm just going to say it. People are idiots. They're idiots. And too much stock goes into people's opinions in regards to like Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, right? All these things where you can have ratings and they talk about the critics and the public score. I do pay more attention to the public score than I do a critic score. Most critics, I actually don't even pay attention to critic scores, really. I mean, I don't give a shit what somebody really thinks. I also don't really pay a lot of attention to the public score, but I do pay that more credit than I do the critic score. So take from that what you will. But yeah. Ghost of Starman. Technically, I think they're exactly one dwarf in the Warcraft film. It was pretty funny. I went to see it with a group of friends, and none of us had played Warcraft at all. Interesting. But did you like the movie? But if you weren't familiar with it, then you're not precious about the story or the back, how it's treated, how the source material is treated, right? Like if you're not familiar with Warcraft, then yeah, you don't give a shit. Same thing with Halo. But there's narrative choices in there that are kind of, it's meh. It's meh. Yeah, that's really about it. It's meh. Again, though, because the fan base, because they're trying to appeal to the fan base. But if appealing to the fan base just kills its commercial success. And again, it's a business. So, the fans might love it, but it's not going to be a big success. And because it's not a big success, guess what? More episodes aren't going to get made. So, yeah. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's money. It's all about the money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Gail B, at that height, they really wouldn't need the boosters. They're used for maneuvering in 0G for the most part, and I agree. I don't really like the floaty jumps. No, not in the game. Yeah, I'm not talking about the show. If I see a floaty jump in the show, though, yeah, I'll stop watching. But in the game, yeah, I don't care for how smooth movement feels. Like in other first-person games like Battlefield or Call of Duty, oh man, Insurgency, Sandstorm is great. If you're not playing Insurgency Sandstorm, that game is really awesome. But anyway, it gives you a sense of movement, right? There's this little bob when you're running, and when you jump, you feel like you're jumping. Halo, it's on rails. Your movement is on rails, and when you jump, it's and it's really, really slow, and it doesn't really explain to you why you're doing that. Like, I don't see little thruster things coming out of a guy's back. And the same with Destiny. Destiny is the same way. I can't watch, like, my daughter loves Destiny. I can't fucking watch it because the movement is so annoying. And yeah, it's annoying. The whole visual aesthetic of sitting there trying to watch somebody play a game like that, it's annoying me. It annoys me. Because it doesn't draw you in. It doesn't make you feel like you're part of the action. It's a first person action. And it doesn't feel first person. So, yeah. That's just me nerd raging a bit. Sophie, why? I can see what you mean about changing things. I totally season one of Discovery, but like season 2 and bored of season 3. Hate season 1. Oh, yeah, season 1 of Star Trek Discovery? Yeah. Season 1's a hot mess. I don't know about hating it, but it's a hot mess. I don't care for it. Season 2 and on, the show gets better. The last season was interesting. You know, it's similar to this Picard. The first season of Picard, it started off really strong. I enjoyed, but then the last last 2 episodes, it's like they shoehorned a bunch of shit into it. And, and the way it ends, whatever. Then the second season, it's pretty interesting. You know, it feels like we're getting back to kind of the roots of Star Trek. You know, yeah, it feels like we're shoehorning things into it, but it's to be expected in this day and age. I haven't watched the last episodes though, so don't tell me. Although Star Trek Discovery, I think, is done for this season. I think it was season finale was last week. So, but anyway, yeah, I haven't watched Picard, and I've been loving Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves, love it, love that show. That's a fucking great show, and I just don't recommend watching it high because you are just going to go into some all sorts of weird thought fucking paths about where things are going or like what it means. Anyway, the implications of what is occurring. But yeah, Raised by Wolves, if you love sci-fi, yeah, watch Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves is some really good shit. I'm also a fan of Ridley Scott's work, although his choice of subject matter leaves a little bit to be desired, and how he deals with it, and what he feels of import in the story versus what keeps the story moving, which is why I think like a lot of Ridley Scott stuff feels a little bit drawn out. Because he allows like a lot of things to play out on screen, moments between actors and all these things, and so it can feel very dry and very long. Moments feel very long versus kind of but I think that's also a symptom of the storytelling of our age. It's like this fucking Michael Bay rapid cut through fucking things, and it's like you know what I mean, like you have to be on ADHD fucking medication to appreciate stories these days. Gail B, the diehard fans are actually missing key parts of the lore. The producers didn't touch the games, but I can tell they read plenty of the books. I really enjoyed the show, and I'm excited to see more. Yeah, I get it. It's like, again, like I'll watch the next one, but like I said, if I see somebody doing a floaty fucking jump, I'm out. But that's my own personal fucking hang-ups. Gail B, and the alien language is beautiful. I I fucked love conlangs. I don't know what that means. I fucking love conlangs. I don't know what that is. And the alien language? The alien language sounds very familiar. It sounds very familiar, but I mean, probably because it's borrowed from many different things, right? It's like Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars, it's a bunch of gibbly gook, right? Ghost of Starman. Warcraft movie was okay. I definitely agree with you on the orc plotline being more interesting. Oh yeah, the orcs in Warcraft. The whole movie should have just been from the orc perspective. The whole movie should have just been from the orc perspective. Because that was far more compelling and a far more interesting story than whatever the fuck they were telling with the humans. The human stuff felt like filler. It felt like filler. Because the animation to the orc stuff, that was fucking great. That was some great animation. And the whole movie should have just been that. Should have just been a fully animated show. You know? We're at the point now where people are like, yeah, fuck it. Fully animated movie. Let's go. You know? People don't give a shit about that. 30 years ago, fully animated show. You know, people are like, I'm gonna spend ticket prices on watching a cartoon when I can watch it on Saturday morning. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that was the attitude then. Nowadays, no, people are more accepting of spending a ticket price on, you know, animated film, right? So, yeah. Sid's Tyler, like, why even adapt it at all then? And it doesn't need to be a 1-to-1 either, but come on. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with these intellectual properties, these established properties. That's the problem, right? Because again, nobody wants to spend the money on original ideas. Nobody wants to spend money on original ideas. So they keep recycling these fucking things, which is why they're always looking to produce more of the, you know what I mean? It's like Marvel. And now they got to go into all of their C-list comics. Their C-list heroes. Give them shows. And then tie them into the greater whole. Holy fuck. Yeah, I don't envy whoever that is that has to try and tie all these storylines in together and make it all one cohesive universe. Because apparently that's very important to everybody. That all these cinematic stories are all connected into one big giant ass world narrative. Right? And I think that's why with the Doctor Strange stuff, they're pushing all this multiverse stuff, because that way they can break out of this hole that they've dug themselves into as far as how all these stories get treated. Right? Doctor Strange, they're trying to save what they've done and correct what they've established with Doctor Strange. With this whole fracturing of the comic verse, right? So, yeah. Gelby, also Riz is the one that blew off the Elite's head with the plasma pistol. Yeah, you just said a bunch of things there. I don't know what that means. What's Riz? Who's Riz? Like, you know those aliens as elites? Why are you calling them elites? In the show, what did they even name what those aliens are called? Like, did we even get an explanation as to, like, other than Buddy in the chair being his name being Mercy? I don't even remember what the girl's name is. The girl he's talking to there. I can't remember what the hell her title was. But like, as far as the aliens are concerned, did they explain it? You know what I mean? Like, see, like that's the other thing that they have to deal with when bringing these things to a show or to a movie. They have to make it so that, yes, the fans love it, but it also gets new people into it. Like, what's what's going to draw a new person into Halo? Like, I have a passing familiarity with the universe, but I'm not a fan of it. I'm familiar with what it is, but I'm not a fan of it. And so watching the show, I'm like, okay, great. Those aliens are really cool looking, I guess, but who the fuck are they? What are they? Like, you're calling them elites, but what is an elite? What's an elite? Those guys are just called elites? I thought they don't have like some fucking crazy ass alien name, designation, whatever. Like, they're just called elites. How does that get passed on to somebody who's brand new to this stuff, who likes this show and says, you know what, it's based off a video game. Really? I'm going to go give the video game a try. I'm going to go buy the video game. Oh, I like the story. It was borrowing from this book series. Oh, really? I'm going to go purchase this book series, right? See, it has to have all this greater tie-in, and it has to be able to introduce new people to it. So when we go back to talking about Warhammer 40,000 in live action, how do you get new people into it? You have to explain all this stuff. You have to show all this stuff. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. As a storyteller, that's hard. That's a very hard job to do. That's the director's job. Just like the latest Dune film. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. Do you have to know what is going on? If you had read the book, it helps a great deal. Clues you into a whole bunch of narrative elements. But as a passing viewer, like my wife thoroughly enjoyed the film. She enjoyed it because it's beautiful. The sound was fantastic. The acting, familiar faces and great performances. And the story, the narrative, tells a complete narrative as far as the journey for Paul. That's what the story's about. It's about Paul, right? In the Halo show, who is the central character? Yeah, I realize everybody's going, it's Master Chief. Is he? Is he the central character? Or is it Quan? Or is it the Doctor? You tell me. You tell me. Zero's hobbies. Hey. Gel B, constructed language. Oh, con language. Gotcha. Constructed language. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, you can just throw a bunch of gibblegook. Sid Tyler, there shouldn't be a second season of Picard since they called the Reavers to our galaxy. That should be it. LMAO. You can just turn it off after, but whatever. Yeah. Again, the first season of Picard, I thought Picard, that was it. It was just a one and done kind of thing, right? Because there was all this talk about having Kate Mulgrew reprise her role as Captain Janeway at the time. And it's like, oh, okay, we'll get like a Captain Janeway story, like a season of Captain Janeway about like what's going on with her, like Picard, right? Like a one season of telling where she is and tell her, her latest adventure kind of thing. And I thought that was going to be really cool. Then it turns out she's part of a cartoon. It's like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And I watched like one or two of the cartoon. I couldn't get into it. I gave it 2 episodes. I don't care about it. Gelby, check the time, Daddy. 1:15. Holy, it's already 1:15. Jeez Louise. We haven't even talked about. What have we been talking about? What have I been talking about? Gelby, the elites call themselves, I'm not even going to try and say that. Humans call them elites because they're usually in charge of all the other races in combat. Right, but during the show, did anybody call them that? In the show? Yeah, I mean, yes, I know you know why they're called that. Was that explained to the audience on what the import of these aliens are? Right? I mean, I know that it's called the Covenant, but also too, the other thing is the Covenant space station or whatever the fuck it is. The sense of scale, I think, should have been pushed a little bit more. How big that is, Yeah. I think a little bit more exposition would have helped in the beginning, explaining how the current situation of the universe and, the import. Right? Because basically it starts off with telling us this story of rebellion, and it gets us on the side of the rebellion, right? Which, from an American perspective, North American perspective, being part of the rebellion makes a lot of sense. Because America is founded on rebellion. So taking the perspective of rebellion really should be the touchstone there, right? From an American perspective. I realize that there's many perspectives, but America, from an American perspective, it should always be backing the rebellion, the underdog, right? Fighting against the empires. So when this show starts, it feels like we're being told that, yes, these rebels, these people who are fighting against their oppressors, this larger offensive organization picking on the small guy, and they're just standing up for themselves. Okay, is any of this ringing a bell? So if that is the central point, and Quan is the remainder of that equation, then that is our main focus. Right? Like, stop me at any point here, people. Paul Knox. Hey, Kris. Really enjoying the recent short vids. Can't wait for Tyranids. P.S. It's me, Paul Knoxy. Updated my name. Cool. Yeah, I knew it was you, Paul. I knew it was you. And I liked your Shining Spears, by the way. I liked that. That was really cool. It's a really good job. Really good job. Paint job. Gail B. If the new folks go play the games, they'll still be called Elites. I think they only mentioned their real name in Halo 5 like twice. Right. So, like, yeah. Sophie, Way the Brush episode, Grumpy Movie Title TV Critic. You know what? Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Grumpy TV Critics. We're using that, Sophie. You win, Sophie. You win. You won. You won the day. Today is yours, Sophie. Celebrate. Celebrate. Smell the air. You smell it? That's victory. I love the smell of victory in the morning. The B-Man, I'm late. Yes, you are. And yeah, I got your email, B, and we will get to that. What time are we at? 20 after? Okay, let's jump over. Let's have a look at what our pals over on Games Workshop side of things is doing. The Combat Patrol Eldari thing. Let me refresh the page. Let's see. Can we refresh the page without fucking everything up? Yeah, boys, you need to fix the website because Combat Patrol picture is gone. Oh, you know what? I'm still on the American one. Let's go to the Canadian. And let's go to pre-order. And yeah, the link still broke. Boys, you need to fix that. Avatar Kane, 120 Canadian. Oof. But that's kind of what I figured. So Avatar Kane has gone up for pre-order today. And I'm kind of surprised that the Rangers and Shroud Runner and the Autark, they're all for sale already. Because usually it's like months, right? It's only been, what, a month since the release of Eldritch Omens? And we're already getting the box already, parsed up like this, which is good. I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, it really shouldn't be that long before they do sell these units separately from the big box sets, but because it seems like it's months and months before, they sell the units separately, right? Especially like when they do a big army box and it has like one character, and then you got to wait like 6 months before that character is available as a separate kit. But yeah. So anyway, Avatar and Shinning Spears. The Shinning Spears. 75 bones for 3 Canadian. Yeah, it's a little high, but it's consistent. Rangers are 70, Shroud Runners are 80, Autark is 50 bones. Oof. Then of course, oh yeah, the Tempest of War. That came out today. And G-Dubs was good enough to send me a copy of this. I fucking wanted to play, but I just couldn't get that to happen. But yeah, this one is really interesting. I read through it, and like it's a big old box, right? It's a big box, has a whole bunch of cards that's all self-contained, and it even has that's the instructions. That's the little instructions for to play this, but it comes with card tokens. See a little punch card tokens? Comes with tokens and everything like that, and it's got a whole whack ton of cards in it for playing games of Tempests of War. What is Tempests of War? Well, it's a mission pack. It's a mission pack. So basically, it encourages you to play Incursion or Strike Force, which is 1,000 or 2,000. You get 6 to 12 command points, depending on which size of battle you're playing. And it has 2 decks of cards for Attacker and Defender. And yeah, it's just a way of playing for victory points and stuff like that. It's really cool. Yeah, so it's got like, what is it, 4 decks? 5 decks? 5 decks. It's let's see here. Yeah, you got 5 decks. Deployment deck, mission rule deck, primary mission deck, secondary mission deck, and then core stratagem card deck. And yeah, and you just use the cards during the game, and it helps. And yeah, it seemed really interesting. I wanted to try out a game, but didn't happen. So haven't. I want to play it though. I want to play it. I want to give these missions using these cards, because I also have the older deck of, what the hell is that called? Open War? I think it's the Open War deck. I also have these. Yeah, it's the Open War deck. The mission pack. I also have these ones as well. And these are really handy and awesome. But yeah, I wanted to try the Tempest of War. But 9. Oh well. But yeah. That was, oh, nice. Games Workshop page ain't working now. Bunch of novels. What else we got here? Oh, and the Chaos stuff and the Castellan Crow. Oh, he's separate too. But didn't they just do that big box? And he's already separate. So, yeah. I guess they're not making people wait anymore, which is not a bad move. I think. You know, I don't think it's a bad move. Comments. Paul, Infernal Master Mini is 24 UK British pounds. Should be 2022 to me. Infernal Master. Who's the Infernal Master? Is that dude? Yeah, I see him as $48 Canadian. He's 48, and Castellan Crow is 55. Why there's different price points on both of those characters, I don't know, but because I kind of figured like characters were like, you know, a done deal, right? It's just, you know, it's kind of one price for all kind of thing, right? 24 British pounds. I'm saying for 24, and he should be 20 or 22 to me. Huh? Yeah, I'm seeing. Oh, like you're working out the conversion. Oh, yeah, that's an exercise. And then of course, yeah, the other one was the Eldari Combat Patrol, and honestly, it's kind of a deal. Like, the only thing that I would have changed with the Combat Patrol is not having a Farseer in there. It should have been Warlocks. All right, I'm on the British side of things again. So it's 90 British. What is it in Canadian? 180. It's a little bit pricier. I think most combat patrols are not that expensive, right? Oh my god, we're gonna go through all these things here. Okay, just give me the picture. Give me the broad picture here, for frick's sakes. There it is. Since the cover image isn't working for whatever reason. So $180. Yeah, because like these combat patrols typically are what, 110, 120? So this is like $50 to $60 more. But there is quite a bit there. And again, when you price out that box versus buying all that separately, yeah, you're saving the cost of the Guardians or a unit of jet bikes. Like, that's about what you're saving. Like, it's not a bad box, but I mean, I don't think they should have had a Farseer with it. I mean, I realize that they want to, you know, entice, you know, somebody who's brand new to Eldar to get this and go, yeah, because it's, you know, it's somewhat complete box, really. But yeah, I mean, you can buy this box and you can play a game after assembling it all, right? Like, it's an army of sorts. Kind of. Really, it's just more of, you know, a teaser for, you know, getting you into all of this, right? Not conversions, sorry, I meant the minis should be cheaper, around the 20 to 22 range. Well, everything went up, right? I mean, should it be cheaper? Sure. Should everything be cheaper? Sure. Is it going to be cheaper? No, because that's not how the system works, right? So, yeah, should it be cheaper? Very debatable. Could it be cheaper? Yes, it could be cheaper. Like, I don't understand why he's a different price from the other character, right? Because they're both characters. They're both Space Marine characters, you know? Like, how do they determine the price point? Because, like, on the Canadian site, Castellan Crow is $55, and the Infernal Master was, what, $48? So, a difference of, what, $7? Right? So, where does that $7 difference come into play? Like, why is there a $7 discrepancy between the two characters? Like, you would assume that selling a character, it's a price point, right? Or is it the amount of materials that go into the model? Okay, well, that seems like then every model should be of different prices, right? But patrol boxes, similar price points, right? Units, similar price points, right? So, like, how, or did they just make up a number? Is it a big fucking dartboard and they got a dart and it says, okay, here's how much Castellan Crow is going to cost? 55. How much is the Infernal Master? 48, right? I don't know. I'm not there for those meetings, so I couldn't tell you. Sophie, I'm looking forward to getting the Norse Blood Bowl team. Yes, the Norse Blood Bowl team. Very, very cool. Yes, I concur, Sophie. Simply mini painting. Oil prices don't help with costs either. Yeah, but when those things were cast and the plastic was made for, you know, the little plastic pellets that go into the injection molds, that shit was made years ago. So the cost of oil current shouldn't be affecting plastic that's being produced today. Or it will, you know, it will affect the cost. But that kind of shit. And again, the cost of oil is, it's completely subjective. It's oil companies set the price. The price doesn't have to change if the oil company decides it doesn't have to change. Again, it's how this market works. Paul, I just get a look of a mini and then part of my brain says yay or nay to the price based on the other mini of the same size. Yeah, see, and again, I mean, like, that's, there's nothing wrong with that, Paul, as far as judging, you know, the cost, because again, it is entirely, which is why I think they set those discrepancies in prices, because who is more valuable? Is the Infernal Master priced so that he still appeals to Chaos players, or is Castellan Crow priced that because they know there's so many Space Marine players out there, they're going to pay that for that character, right? Can they get away with charging $7 more for a character, Space Marine character, because they know people are going to pay it? They know people are going to pay it, right? So. Simply mini painting. Well, I mean, like shipping gas for cars and trucks. Sure, but like, again, I mean, you when you're talking about the units, like the cost of oil would have to jump significantly for those kind of things to affect the price, right? When you're talking about millions upon millions of units, when you're looking at individual stuff, I mean, like, there's a big formula that they use for pricing out this shit. There's a big formula, and I'm curious as to what that formula is, because sometimes it does feel like it is fucking random, right? But no, there's a formula. Businesses operate under these formulas for years and years and years, but they don't tell anybody because that's, you know, like, for example, like the cost of a sprue. Okay, never mind what the sprue contains, but the weight of plastic. How much plastic is here? How much do you think that is worth? This amount of plastic. What it costs? It's pennies. It's pennies. Now, what is here? Well, that's up to the company to determine, and they set the price. They set the price to what they think they can charge you and what you'll pay. That's why the prices are so high, because they know people will pay it. It's just like cars. It's the way this whole system works. Like, Ghost of Starman. Part of Crow being more expensive will be the fact he's a unique duder. There's always more expensive. I expect the logic is most people will pick up a unique duder. We'll just stick with the one, whereas you can grab several copies of a generic character. Okay, so you think because he's a named character, that's why he costs more? Like, don't you find that very interesting, that just because he's a named character, he costs more? Think about how that works as far as marketing is concerned. So special characters, they can charge more. Like, you don't see how that's funny? Night Warden Gaming. Morning, Kris. Just joined. Well, welcome. Question: would the Avatar spear work with the Wraith Knight? The spear with the Wraith Knight? No, the Wraith Knight's pretty big. I mean, if you wanted to use, if you wanted to use the spear tip and elongate it and make it longer, sure. Yeah. Do it. Send pics. The spear on its own, it would look kind of small. It would look really, because I mean, the Avatar is about. You guys are gonna go make me get the knight, eh? The Avatar only comes to about less than half of a Wraith Knight. The stance of, like, a normal default stance of the Wraith Knight, he's about half the height of the Wraith Knight. So the spear would look more like a utensil in his hand. You would have to make the spear longer for the Wraith Knight to make it look appropriate, right? Or to scale or whatever, right? But yeah. But would it work? Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's Eldar aesthetic. Eldar aesthetic works across all the minis. And I'm sure it wouldn't take much to make that aesthetic work. You know? Like, for example, he's got like a bunch of runes on his spear, right? Yeah, you can... Yeah, they're just kind of generic runes, so... Yeah. I mean, it does have a nice spear shaft. And the shaft has the aspect runes in it, so... You know, why the Wraith Knight has all these aspect runes on his staff, I don't know. You know, I guess you don't really have to explain it. I mean, it's just there because it looks cool, right? So, again, if you do it though, send me pics. Where the hell am I? Zero's Hobbies. I've always felt GW charged based on value in the game and not the value of plastic. Again, we can talk about all different ways of how they go about the arithmetic of pricing these box sets, but until we are we can sit in on those meetings on how they go about pricing out these things and what formula is used to price it. It's all speculative and largely pointless, really. You know, they can just set the price. They just set the price, just like any other company out there sells a product in retail. They set the price, right? That's why like a purse, right? A brand name purse, Gucci, thousands of dollars. Why? Why is it thousands of dollars for the purse when you can go to, you know, Walmart and buy a bag that looks very similar, made with similar materials, for 1/10 of the cost, 1/5 of the cost, you know, like whatever. Because they can. Because people will pay it. Why? Because they're paying for the name. You know? Because they know people will pay it. Brandon Taylor, you're going to radicalize some younger viewers into communism. Well, I don't have a lot of younger viewers, so I don't think... And radicalize? I don't know about radicalize. How is it radicalize? I mean, I realize you're making a joke, but how does it radicalize? See, like, again, the words we use are very telling, right? How does it radicalize? When you use a word like radicalize, what does that mean? What does it mean to radicalize? Sophie, probably about 20p. 20p. I don't know what that means. Paul, I still want updated plastic Lucius the Eternal. Never going to happen. Yeah, I mean, again, we all have wish lists, sure, right? I mean, like, I'm not a Space Marine player, but I'd love to see a new Pedro Cantor, right? I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure that'll happen. When? Who knows? Ghost of Starman. I mean, it makes sense to me. They won't sell as many copies of the named characters, so they need to charge more to turn the same profit. Do you think not selling enough Castellan Crows will hurt Games Workshop? Yeah, I kind of don't really see that either. A lot of things have to fail for Games Workshop to be really hurt. A lot of kits. You basically would have to stop buying Games Workshop products. Everybody would just have to just all of a sudden stop buying their products. For Games Workshop to go, oh my gosh, no. They're on to us. And that's not going to happen. Because people are just going to keep buying. People are just going to keep buying. Night Warden Gaming. Okay, part of me thought the Avatar was going to be bigger. No, he's about the same size as the Forge World one. He's about the same size. And the like height. He's about the same height. If you're familiar with how tall that miniature is, then you know how tall the Avatar is. He's triple a regular duder. I mean, again, I'm not really going to show him to you guys because I'm not happy with where he currently sits. He looks like a hot mess at the moment, really. But I haven't refined the colors yet. So, and I've had this thing for 2 weeks now, 2, 3, almost 3 weeks, maybe. And yeah, I'm not very far on the model. It's just fucking getting time. Just getting time to sit down and paint shit. Like, because I haven't streamed at all this week, I have not gotten anything painted. I haven't gotten anything painted. Again, when you move your hobby to your business, it's no longer a hobby. You don't do this in your free time. Waversburg. I don't think of a sprue as material cost, but rather in terms of cost for the company to design, plan, model, press, transport, and profit. The vast majority of cost of the kit will be in manpower. Yeah, there's a lot of cost associated, right? But again, we're not privy to that information on how they break down the cost of what it costs to make a kit. So it's largely speculative, and until you sit in on those meetings on what goes in, I mean, we can sit here and speculate till we're all blue in the face, which is largely pointless. You know what I mean? Okay, what difference does it make if we sit down and break down moment to moment on what it costs to make an Avatar of Cain box set, right? The breakdown of what it cost per. Like, what is the point? What is the point of going through that exercise? What is the point of going through that exercise of, yeah, it costed this much because it took 4 designers. I said 4 designers to start designing it. Well, you have to work out the hourly rate and what those designers are paid. How many days did it take? Okay. Then, of course, the sculptors who import that file into CAD, right? All these people. Then, of course, you have to factor in all the people who work. Well, what does it cost? What did it cost to make pay the photographer to take the pictures? It wasn't just one pick and done. That photographer had to sit there and go through it. And then all the layout artists who have to sit there and lay out the box art, how it all looks, how it all works together, what boxes are going to go into, right? Then, of course, then you have to pay the tooling to make the molds. Okay, well, then you got to, you know what I mean? Like, you have to break it all down. That's exhausting. And you might as well just go in and sit in on a fucking, product meeting, which they don't do. You can't go in and just sit in on a product meeting. I mean, That's not going to happen. So, yeah. The choice is really simple. The choice is very, very, very simple. You either buy it or you don't. You see the value in it or you don't. Pretty simple. If you don't want to buy it, then don't buy it. Right? Even if you are a fan of this stuff and you really, really want it, but that price point pisses you off that much, then do not buy it. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Sophie, wondering what would happen if ever said, I ain't paying my bills till they halved. I need my hobby stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you gotta pay your bills, kid. B-Man, radicalize. Cause someone to adopt radical positions on political or social issues. Nailed it. Okay, but what is a radical position on politics or social issue? What's a radical position? And how does that correlate to what I am talking about? Gail B, I want more. I realize you're making a joke, B. I realize. Gail B, I want more Tyranid big boys like the Hierophant without scoliosis. Sure, yeah. I mean, that for a kit from Forge World that should have been a plastic kit, that should have been one, because that in resin, those legs, that just didn't work. They should have done something different for how that model sits on a base. It's not even made for a base, really. But yeah, they should have came up with something different for that, because those legs just either bowed in or bowed out, one of the two. And yeah, it's a pain. You have to reinforce that model. But it's part of modeling. It's part of modeling. Ghost of Starman. I mean, obviously it wouldn't hurt them, but they got to justify making him in the first place to their investors or whatever. Sure. Again, I mean, like, we're not privy to these discussions, so it's largely speculative and largely pointless. Like, really, what does it matter? You, like, knowing that information, is that going to change your buying habits? Having that information, that particular information to that particular kit, is it going to affect whether or not you buy? Like, if you had that information, if you knew the total breakdown, penny by penny, of what it cost to make that model, would that affect whether or not you bought it? That's the question. Paul, I agree. For GW to get really hit, the web store sales would have to drop, and on the other side, wish my local store would have the community drive they had a few years ago, but signs they're coming back. Wait, I don't understand what? On the other side, wish my local store would have the community drive they had a few years ago, but signs they're coming back. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like, that's a good thing or a bad thing? I don't understand. Night Warden Gaming, like you said, if we buy set the price as high as they want. Yeah, exactly. If people spend the money on that price point, they're going to keep setting that as the price points. It's pretty straightforward. Even if you really, really want it, take a stance, have some balls, be a man. Don't spend the money on it. It's pretty simple. These are pretty simple choices. You know what? If you're tired of spending that price point, stop spending the money on it. Waversburg. Honestly, GW should have moved to China of plastic production years ago. Prices would be the same, but the fact that they employ first world labor for this is a money sink. Sure, well, it opens them up. I think for personally dealing, like having all that cheap labor going to China, as far as ethics, that is, the discussion can be had there. Criminality opens them up to fraud, counterfeiting, stuff like that. Yeah, you know, when you take things out out of house. But what would Games Workshop cost years ago if they never moved out of country and everything stayed? Everything, I'm talking everything, stayed in country. I would suspect the prices would have been higher earlier. Right? But just because of the nature of the market. Because if they want to continue to reap high profits, yeah. And if the cost of keeping everything within their country, yeah. We would have seen $150 rhinos 20 years ago. We would have seen it. And that probably would have killed it then. Probably. A lot of people would leave. And in fact, that would have been the smarter move, probably because 3D printing was not prevalent then. Although it might have spurred the market further, faster, I suppose, 3D printing, right? Simply mini painting. Tell you one thing I want to waste my money on is the new Knights. Tell you one thing I can't wait to waste my money on is the new Knights. Yeah? Sure. I mean, like, again, like if you have the resources, bills are paid, you know, kids are fed, whatever, and yeah, spending the money on a $300 box set, don't even blink an eye at, go right ahead. Continue to spend the money. Go right ahead. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. You either see the value in something or you don't. You either buy it or you don't. Pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Paul Knox. Around 2016-17, my local GW was about gaming, painting. What you working on? Then it was a slow slide into the old days of pouncing on the new players, so the community died. But coming back, right? Well, that's the fan base, man. That's the fan base. That's like if the store, the club, whatever, was encouraging that kind of behavior, that it led to that kind of shit. That's on them. That's not Games Workshop's problem. That's the community's problem. That's the fan base. Again, these toxic fan bases are the problem for all this stuff. It's the fans. The problem is you. I'm not singling out you, Paul. I'm saying you, as in all you, are the problem. Greenleaf terrain. Your blood pressure must be up. Calm down, old man. Is my blood pressure? No, I'm okay. Paul, like the old days, buy this and get out. Oh yeah, I've heard those stories. I never really dealt with Games Workshop stores very often, so I'm not familiar with, you know, the whole buy or get out kind of mentality, and you know, but I can totally see it, and yeah, I assume it went on, right? Greenleaf, fuck rent, fuck bills, buy models. Yeah, might as well, right? We only live once. Sophie, just been thinking of Kris at GW production meeting. Hey, this is Kris. He'll be joining us. Eldar. So next is Eldar. What shall we make? Eldar. Yeah, exactly. If that was me, yeah. If I was part of all that discussion, yeah, it's Eldar all day long. Till we're all blue, till we're sick. Till Warhammer 40,000, on the cover of the box art, it's an Eldar. Everybody like, what happened to Warhammer 40k? They hired Kris and he's a fucking screwball. And so he wouldn't shut up about Eldar until everything was Eldar. It was just basically Eldar 40k. No, I wouldn't be that bad. I still would have Space Marines and Imperium. Personally, if I was in charge of this, or I was the one making these kind of calls, Warhammer would shift focus from Space Marines. And it would become more Imperium based. It's the Imperium. And that's the focus. That's where you basically start off with all the storytelling. But I would not sideline the villains of the story, because if you have heroes or apparent heroes, then you need villains, right? You need opposing faction, and as much energy has to be spent creating your heroes as you do your villains. Otherwise, your storytelling is shit. It is shit. If you want to have compelling heroes, you have to have compelling villains. But for a while, it seemed like all the other villains were not getting their just time, right? Which is why for many years I've gone on about how they don't spend enough time with Eldar. Eldar was one of the initial factions that was part of Warhammer 40,000. It was the Imperium, Space Marines, Orcs, Eldar. That was it. That was for Warhammer 40,000, right? And then Chaos and Tyranids and all the other stuff. Then Necrons. Tau is still relatively new by comparison. So, yeah. Time we out here. Holy shit, it's almost 2. We haven't even gotten an email yet. Actually, I only have 1 email to do. Don't I? No, apparently I got 2 now. Oh, Gail sent me 1. Oh, damn it. Damn it, Gail. Oh, we didn't even do Instagram yet. Jeez, I'm fighting back a sneeze here. Okay. All right. TH, Kris, did you see the new Norse Blood Bowl team? Beer Pig. Yeah, I have a video, TH. I watched the live presentation when they did it. I streamed. I was cooked out of my head. I was high as fuck when I did that video. So I probably don't make a lot of sense in that video. I haven't watched it, but yeah, I can only imagine that I probably wasn't making a lot of sense. TH, or did you already talk about it? I did. And I just realized I'm now half an hour late into the show, about an hour and a half. Yeah. Yeah, I talked about it. Like, I streamed it. It was a live stream. Paul, I get you. LOL. I didn't take it as an attack. No, I know. I know, Paul. But I just wanted to make it like, when I'm speaking to like one of you, I am speaking to all of you. I realize that. We're all having one big conversation. That's how this all works, right? We're all having a conversation. So when I say you, I don't mean you. I mean you. And people who are just listening to this and not watching, that statement was probably very weird. But yeah. Simply manipulating frickin' space elves. Frickin' frack. Dark Commission, Kris, just sent surprise picked email. Did you? No. Ruckus Muggus, GW company designed to sell miniatures. You see it in how the games are designed. It's modern capitalism, plain and simple. That's capitalism. It's just capitalism. I don't know about modern capitalism. What's modern capitalism? That's just capitalism. Cut and dry, really. But yeah, I mean, it's a system we live in, man. System we live in. Either you love it or you hate it. You either work within it or fight against it. But, it's up to you. It's up to you. All right. Speaking of fucking modern capitalism, let's go over to Instagram. Let's have a peek. First one. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so most reasons. This is from Alex. Haven't posted in a while because been too busy painting. Let's give it a like. These are, I can't remember what these guys are called. They're really cool looking models though. Ooh, is that metallic purple on their armor? Is it metallic purple? Is that the sound of my voice? Yeah, really cool. Oh no, it's not metallic. Initially, it looked like it was metallic purple. I thought that was cool. Because Kris is all about them colored metallics. Ever since that paint set that Games Workshop put out like 30 years ago, yeah, I've loved colored metallics. They're just fantastic. Oh, some asshole. Oops. There we go. This is from our good buddy Kim Warpsmith. No, it says Warpsmith. It's not Kim Warpsmith. It's let's give that a like. Am I in the right window? Yeah, I'm on the right window. Oh, I like the work on the blade and the handle. The armor looks good. Oh, nice cabling. Really tight highlights. Looks like you took your time with this guy. Yeah, like your edge highlighting is really neat. Nice and clean. Very tight highlights. Very toy. I like the blade though. I like the way you did with that blade. I think with that blade and that nice vibrant green you've got going on there, it like immediately draws the eye. And I would have probably done that with the plasma coils on his pistol as well. I probably would have went green for his eyes, the edge of that blade, and the plasma coil being that color green. Just so that it helps the eye move around, rather than being immediately drawn to the axe blade and then, you had nowhere else to go, right? Yeah, I would have done that green on the eyes and that plasma gun, just to help the viewer move around a bit, if you're concerned about such things. Ooh, another one from Kim. One more vampire. Only got 3 out of 4 models left to paint in my Soul Blight Gravelord's army. Very, very cool. I like the bases. I like the way you do the bases on these guys. It's really cool. It's fun. I like it. It's a bit like what Scott does with the way his overall painting goes, where it goes dark to light in one direction, and I dig that. I like it. I realize it's inspired by another artist, I'm sure, who employ this kind of style, but I like it. I like the hair too. Nice work on the face as well. Yeah, I like your highlighting in the hair. That's really good. Like how contrasty you go with the hair and the face. I think you should go that contrasty on the armor. Push, like, you know how you got that really bright silver in the armor? I'd go a little darker into some of the shadowy points. Even with the metallic, doing a non-metallic metal. Oh, see, like in this, maybe it's the way the pictures are taken. Because this picture here, you get lots of contrast here. Maybe it's just the way the way the camera takes the picture. Yeah, it was really good though. Yes, very good. Very good, Kim. The Wannabe Painter painting the Tiger Tank Part 5. Mud season is here. The first 2 pictures show the inner side of the hull. These spots later covered 90% of the track, so work there is for the cat, as they say in Germany. But I had space for experiments. Tried out pigments with only one wash and some crushed grass by Vallejo. Crushed grass, Vallejo? Other side was done with ammos, heavy mud range, cool stuff, but you have to thin it strongly. The rest of the standard thick mud pigment and splatter work, the end is in sight with not too much to do. Let's give that a like. So let's have a look at the mud. Yeah, I like that. It's really caked in there. Nice and dry. Ooh, that's right in there in the wheels, eh? Yeah. Oh, I like the little bit of splatter there. I like that. That's a nice touch. And I like how it looks almost dry and wet. Like you get in some equipment like that. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. Yeah. Oh, is that it? Aw. Aw. I want more. Oh, we're getting more. Painting the King Tiger Tank Part 4. The chipping phase is done with the mixed feelings. At first, I thought it would be a disaster, but I moved and got a bit more into it. In the end, I'm totally fine with the result. After that, I did the tracks with light rust on the outer links. Rise of Rust finally proves its worth. And some good old lead belcher on the inner tracks and the running surfaces. Some detailing followed, like oil stains and smoke pigments on the exhaust. Next will be the mud work to come. Let's give that a like. Yeah, I like the chipping. I like the scratches. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Again, yeah, I like how, you have the varying levels of weathering. I like that it's not a uniform weathering on everything. When we are weathering stuff, I know a lot of us tend to do like a uniform kind of approach to it, and it just draws the eye into the uncanny valley kind of thing, right? Yeah, I like the streaks. I noticed it on the previous picture where you had the splattered mud. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, like I like see it and see like here's where you get into the weathering, right? Because like the hatch on the left, it has a little bit of weathering, but the hatch on the right has more weathering, which makes sense because that hatch would be opening and closing all the time, right? Be lots of wear on it, as opposed to other places, right? It just helps kind of add to the narrative. Yeah, that's really good. I like that little like how it goes from light and dark, and you get those little runs in there. Like I'm looking at like the number 2 on the right. I like how you have that, how it kind of just wisps down, and then get that rust running. And then you get the little dark spots up on the edge. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good weathering. Me likey. Are you referring from photos and such? Like, are any actual like historical photos, or are you just using like reference material from like heavy equipment and shit, like heavy diesel equipment? I'd like to know. Let me know. Disco Mini Painter just finished off my 1/56 scale Sherman. Added the weathering powders and some grease around the wheels and done the details. Very, very cool. Yes, I like the dust, the weathering. Yeah. Oh, he's not fixed to the base. I thought he was fixed. Very, very cool. It's like an animation. He's driving across the bridge. I can hear it. I can hear the tank. Oh, look at that front. I like that front. Like the weathering down below the machine gun. I like that. And this is 1/56 scale, eh? It's pretty small. Yeah. Really nice work. Very, very cool. Kevin Cabal, a Ral Partha sorceress with wand. From the personalities and thing that go bump in the night range. Sculpted by Tim Meyer. Again, the detail on this tiny 25mm miniature is just incredible. I didn't even notice the little chain hanging from her on her forehead from the tiara in her hair until the mini had been primed. Seriously, Tom Mayer is a sculpting god. Painted for a collector with Belleau and Citadel products based in Woodland Scenics and Gamergrass products. Let's give it a like. Yeah, I like their dress. Tons of fabric. Texture. Oh yeah, the tiny little chain. That's really cool. these classic poses. I think we were talking earlier about that today, right? Like how it's all one fixed, right? Because so it's easier to cast. Yeah, that's why they did it. All these single poses like this. Really nice work on the hair. I like the hair, like there. I like that. Very good. Very, very good. Painting Minis 1990 Dragon Acolyte. Done. It's done. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Oh, is that a free-handed dragon on his shoulder? That's really good. If that's freehand, that's really good. If it's a transfer, it's still really good. Because it's nice and conformed to the surface. But that looks like freehanding. Is it freehanded? I can't tell. Yeah. Oh, no, that's freehanded. Yeah, that's freehanded. Really nice work, man. That's toy. Like a toiga. Yeah. Nice painted. Oh, you even got the eyes done too. Yeah. The gemstone work. I like your gemstones. The way your gemstones are lit feels like the light sourcing is coming from the left-hand side as opposed to above, which is typical, but doesn't hurt it. Ugh. Jeez Louise. Okay. Oh, some assholes. Corsair. Okay, we're done. We're done. We've come full circle, right? Yes, we have. Yes. Very, very cool. If you want to be part of this segment of the show and show off what you're working on, use the hashtag Way of the Brush. Just like the name of the show. Hashtag. Pound sign. Hashtag pound sign. Hashtag pound sign. All right. Back to the comments. I have no idea where I am. Paul, new. Oh, can't wait for the Warpsmith as a solo release, plus the new Chosen. Yeah, you know what? They did the Eldar solo, but there was no Chaos. Because the Warpsmith is the new kit, right? Oh, and maybe that sprue that comes with the kit? Is that new? For the unit? With the minigun and all that? Is that new or is that old? I don't even know. I'm out of touch. But yeah, you know what? The Warpsmith's not separate. People revolt. Right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm going back to the pre-order page because yeah, it's the Stellan Crow and the Infernal Master, Combat Patrol, Grey Knights. Oh, the Grey Knight box is 180, and the Combat Patrol for 1,000 Suns 180. Okay, so was that something that they updated everybody on, as far as like the army boxes were going to go up in price? I don't even know. I don't really pay that much attention. Sorry, I'm just quickly going through and seeing what else is on new release and stuff. And still a lot of Eldar stuff. Wasn't that all like weeks ago? No? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I would have kind of figured that the Warpsmith would have been part of this release. No? Guess not. Apparently. No? Sophie, nice diorama. Yeah. Simply mini painting. It'll probably be when the codex comes. Yeah, maybe. Ghost of Starman. GW looks to be gearing up for the big Chaos release, so the Chosen and Warsmith from Eldritch Omens will probably come out with the other stuff. Yeah, probably. Right? Yeah. Same with the codex and all that. Yeah. It's like Simply was saying. I hear ya. All right. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down because here it comes. We're going to do an email. Yeah, we'll do this one here. You ready? You turn your headphones up or down? Okay. Of course, it's not going to start quite away. It's email time. Oh, it's already done. I am bopping my head. It's already fucking done. Anyway, this one's from B-Man Brandon. I've spent a fair amount of time on this model. I'd say that I'm half finished. I'm not happy with the results. You're not happy with the results. When do you give up? Do you toss a failed model off to the side, strip the paint and start over, or just finish the model and be done with it? As it is, he is now in a bath of LA awesome. La awesome. B-Man. So let's have a look. So wait, as it is, he is now in a bath of L. So you're already stripped it. So you sent us pics of this model. Nice work on the face. So you've already stripped this model? He's done, but you've already stripped him? Well, he doesn't look quite done because his hoses aren't done. His chains and stuff aren't done. At least not what I would consider done. You weren't happy with it. Why weren't you happy with it? You spent a great deal of time and you weren't happy with it. I don't know why you would not be happy with it. I guess really, what aren't you happy with? I guess is the next logical. Is this the official model or is this a repose of the official model, or is this like where's this model from? Is this the official model? Is that what this guy is? I don't even know. I have no idea, dude. Anyway, he doesn't look quite done. The armor. I mean, you could go with a bit more contrast in the separation of the armor panels. Your work on the lightning looked good. I really like your decayed flesh. I think the bones could have come up a little bit, just a little bit more highlight. The work on the face is really good. I like overall it looks really good. I mean, I don't think he's done though. I wouldn't categorize it as done because I mean you still have the hoses and some other things. What aren't you happy with? I guess is the bigger question. What aren't you happy with? Like what is going on? Because yeah, I mean like this looks really good. This is Night Lord dude. This is the fuck's his name? Conrad? Yeah, it's Conrad. Looks like Conrad. Isn't it? I guess that's the big question. What? Oh shit! I forgot to change windows. Oops. Sorry, everybody. Here I am talking about this model. Yeah, I mean, like the work on the flesh looks good, right? Your work for the lightning is good. It could be a little bit more distinct, like on the torso or on his chest. Yeah, I guess that's the bigger question is what aren't you happy with? Yeah, I'd probably go a little bit brighter, but I mean, it's just the hoses and the chains. That's all you had left, right? And the chains, I probably would do them dark chains. I probably wouldn't do them bright silver. I'd stay dark. The hoses could be dark as well, just because like the blue is mid-tone and the red is a mid-tone. You can go dark with the hoses. Could also do like little hazard lines on one of the hoses or both hoses, whatever, right? Have some fun. It's kind of stereotypical. You could also go color with the hoses as well, Is it the level of contrast? Is that what it is? But I mean, like, your work on the face is really good. Like, that's really good. I mean, it's cropped in, but it looks really good from here. And I mean, like, this is the kind of perspective we would have if we were looking at it at arm's length, right? So, I honestly don't know what you're not happy with. What aren't you happy with? Come on, B-Man. B-Man. Oh, you did answer. Here we go. I gave up on it and started over. Oh, okay. It's 3D printed. It's 3D printed. Oh, okay. Oh. All right. Well, I think we already know my opinions on a lot of these things, so I'll save you that. B-Man. I didn't like the blue armor, the cape, and the lightning. Well, your lightning in a couple spots could have been a little bit more refined. For example, let's go here. Zoom in a bit. Yeah, so like on the chest, it feels a little confused on both sides of that on the chest icon versus like imagining it runs through, the pattern runs through the armor as a whole. See, it feels like you're applying the lightning to areas that felt big enough that you could accommodate the lightning pattern, right? And I think realistically, you should have done it so that it feels like, for example, like it, do I still have the drawing program here on this? Oh no, that was the other program. Fuck, it was the other program. Anyway, like on the upper left of where the collar is, where it's blue, just before where it gets to the brass part of his collar, start off like a line there, and then imagine it runs through in behind that wing, down through that little sliver, and continues on, and then down by his pelvis, or on his crotch armor, it would say come down there, right? like imagining that the lightning is running through multiple segments of the armor. It's one bolt that's painted on the armor, right? Versus trying to fill space with the lightning. So like every blank spot you have, you put a lightning bolt. I don't think that is entirely necessary. And the blue is fine. I think you would like it more though if you added a bit more shadows. Either you can take that blue and push it down, or you start off with a dark blue and build up. Although I think you know my feelings on that process. So I'm more of a start in the middle, build up and push down, so that you're not creating too many layers of paint on the surface. The cloak, the red of the cloak, I think is fine. Again, you could push more shadows, create more contrast. It already has that, looks like it already has that texture of the cloth. So, a very, very light dry brush to just catch some of that texture. You could do that. Again, yeah, there's so many different directions you could go for the cloth and what you do on the cloth. I think really what you're looking for there is tone, and the high contrast would create that for you, or higher, not pushing black to the shadows, but just going just a slightly darker blue. So like if, for example, what is that main blue? What is that blue you're using? Is that the mid-tone blue? Like, is that like McCraig blue, or is that like what's the other mid-tone blue? Teclis blue? Altiok blue? I can't remember what fucking blue, the name of the goddamn mid-tone blues. But, you just go down and push it as far as, like, say, Cantor blue into the shadows. And push it up to, what, Teclis blue or sky? What is the sky blue? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, just, you start off with the mid-tone, push down a little bit, and highlight up a little bit. And then that way, when that blue's a little bit darker, when you do the lightning bolts, they show up a little bit more. And especially when you do a similar value of lightning bolt, even though like there's shadows and there's high points, and that lightning bolt comes across, it'll stand out more, right? And won't feel like it's part of that surface. Because if you do the lightning bolt after doing the main value and you push the shadows, you'll end up pushing those shadows downwards on the lightning bolts, and that'll make the lightning bolts feel like they're part of the armor, as opposed to like something a little bit more supernatural, right? Because you definitely want it to feel more like the armor is constantly got that lightning occurring on it, right? Like, I don't know how it's described, if that lightning is supposed to be just painted onto the armor and it's just a symbolic lightning, in which case it doesn't have to look realistic at all. But if it is like the power of chaos and his armor has got that storm occurring on it all the time, and no matter which way you're looking at him, you see lightning occurring on that surface, right? How is it supposed to be imagined? I don't know. How do you imagine it, right? And even from that point, this was an easy fix, because to create more contrast, you could have simply gotten the blue shade wash, or gotten the contrast like Leviathan blue, thinned that down a little bit, and worked that into the shadow points. And the more layers you built up, the more of a gradient you could have created, creating some deeper values. And in fact, the really simplest way would have been to thin it way down, apply it as a shade wash over the entirety of the blue, and then just do a simple edge highlight of that blue with white, or whatever next up blue is in whatever blues you're using, and then drew the lightning in. Does that make sense, B? Does that make sense? I have no idea. But yeah. I don't know, B-Man. Night Lord blue. Is that what the blue is? Is that a new color, or is that an old color? I have no idea. I have no idea. But either way, you strip the models, so like, I guess realistically, like, whatever advice I offer is kind of pointless, because you've already stripped the model. So anything I would offer to correct it wherever you've gone, or wherever you were going to go, is kind of pointless, really. So realistically, B, you're just wasting my time. I'm just teasing, man. Greenleaf. Way the brush emojis. It's like a little finger sunglass. I don't know. What? Did I make those? Or did you make those? What are those? Or did you get those because you have the channel points for that now? Because it looks like you're on Twitch. Yeah, you're on Twitch. I don't know. What are you doing? God damn it, Adam. What are you doing? TK, SD, and TK. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I put those emojis in there, but I don't fucking know what this shit means. You know? Like, I fucking know. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. No, thank you. Thanks for sending the email, B. But, yeah, if we had discussed it sooner, we could have course corrected sooner. And we could have saved you a bunch of time and anguish over this stuff, right? Which is why everybody out there, do not be shy about reaching out about whatever. Feel free to send me emails or use the hashtags or whatever and start the conversation. Not even just myself, but with anybody that you follow. Like, don't be shy about reaching out. You know, like, especially if you're following somebody else's tutorials. Like, if you're following my tutorials, you're following another painter's tutorials. Feel free to ask them questions about, like, you know, what they're doing, you know? But anyway. All right. Next email. Let's go. Let's do this. This one's from Gelby. How to head gay noodle? How to head gay noodle? What the fuck does that mean? Got a Jun figure, but the head looks like shit. How fix? Also, work in progress, Elite Boys. Okay. So, I have no idea what any of this means. He's got the head. It's a Jin head, apparently. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Is the head from Halo? I assume that's a Halo figure. It looks like an action figure. It's a pretty big figure, right? How do you fix? What's wrong with the head? What's wrong with the head? What don't you like about that head? Can we rotate this? Can I rotate this in the program? I don't think I can. Anyway, little Halo duders. Is there a Halo tabletop game? Is there? I don't even know. I'm sure we've discussed this many times, but I don't know. I'm not paying attention. Pretty cool, though. I like them. Interesting. Am I going to rush out and buy them? No. Because I'm not that into Halo, so at all. But yeah, you wanted help with the head, but I don't know what. Got Jin figure, but head looks like shit. How fix? How do you fix the head looking like shit? Well, you think it looks like shit, but I don't see any problems with the head because you acquired the head, you saw the head, and you bought it. What's wrong with it? What don't you like? Let's start with what you don't like, because like what is wrong with the head? I have no idea. It's a head. It's a plastic head. And he's got a symbol of, looks like a hand with three little things coming out of it. I don't know what the hell that is. Is it a hand? I don't even know. I don't even know what that head is. Is that head part of the Halo? Is that head from another figure? Like, I have no idea. You guys have to fucking give me details here, people. Details. You got to give me the details, because otherwise I'm guessing. And I have no idea what you had envisioned. Like, what do you want to do with the head? What is your goal with the head? Greenleaf Terrain. LOL. So old. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Yeah, you can redeem channel points on Twitch, but sunglasses on things on the emotes. Ah, okay. Is that what you're doing? Okay. Gail B, it's one flat color. The head is one flat color? Okay. So, you want to repaint it? Is that what you want to do? You can change the skin tone. I mean, you can try clearing the head of that established paint. Take some iso alcohol on a, I wouldn't use a paper towel. more like a cotton ball or, you know, any of the little scrub pads or whatever. And then just gently wipe that paint off. It should come right off. And you can reprime that head and base coat it whatever flesh values you want. And then create shadows and paint the head. But I mean, are you paint like, is it going to be going on that figure? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's one flat color, so you want to create depth. Well, you're gonna have to paint that. You're gonna have to get flesh values and repaint that head. You got to clear it and you got to prime it if you're gonna repaint it. Gail, I love the sculpt, but the paint job is meh. I don't know what to do with the armor, but I have no clue how to paint flesh. I know what I want to do with the armor, but I have no clue how to paint the flesh. Well, I do have a bunch of tutorials on this channel. If you're you're on YouTube, on my channel on painting flesh. You can check those out. I mean, yeah. Like, are you wondering where to start with this? Because I do have tutorials on painting flesh. I also have some tutorials on painting, you know, larger sculpted heads. I did one on Cavill. I did one on The Rock, the Rock Johnson. I'm pretty sure I showed both those heads, right? Painting those things, because those are like 1/6, 1/6, no 1/12 scale heads. So that looks about that same size. It's like a 1/12 scale head, or 1/16. I can't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. Painting flesh faces like that, and yeah, I also have. Oh fuck! Oh, that fucking just dropped. Fuck's sakes. Anyway, I have this head of Ruby Rose I've been meaning to do for my Sister of Battle. Fuck off. I almost dropped again. Did I fucking break that? No, I didn't. Fuck. Did I break my goddamn... Oh, fuck off. My work area is fucking crowded with shit. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, like, again, what are the goals? Like, what are you looking to accomplish? I mean, just telling me it looked bad doesn't help, because I don't know what you want. What do you want? But anyway, thank you for the email, Gail. Yeah, you got to give me a little bit more information as far as like what you're looking to do and what exactly do you need help with exactly. All right, last email. This one is from Dark Commission. Hi, Mighty One. I was tidying up some old hard drives and came across this diorama I made when I had been painting for just a few months. The painting is not very good, but just shows newbies how sticking with the hobby will eventually pay off. Cheers, John, aka Dark Commission, aka John. How long ago was this diorama? Oh my gosh, this is fun. I like this. How long ago was this? You said it was just a couple years ago? Oh, it's very cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you're familiar with Dark Commission's work, I mean, yeah, this is, you know, very early on. I dig it though. It's colorful. But yeah, like it obviously, you know, doesn't have the same level of, you know, treatment of shadows and highlights and stuff like that. But yeah. No, this is really good, man. Like, it's neat. And like, even though this is an older paint job, and do you even still have this? Or was this done for a friend? Or did you just chuck this? Or like, what would you do with this? Do you still have it? Anyway, yeah, like even if you, as long as you work nice and neat, you can always come back when you've improved on your control and the way you shade and highlight and, you know, all these different things. You can always come back to something like this and you know, improve details, throw in the shadows and the highlights and things of that nature, right? Like, you can always come back to it or leave it. And buddy on the far right looks very derpy. I'm not making fun of your paint job. I'm just making fun of how derpy this guy on the far right is. he looks a very derp. But it's really good. I like it. Yeah. No, and this is excellent. Yeah, hang on. I don't know, John, do you still have this? Because yeah, this is an excellent example of what you're talking about. Like, just here's where I started, here's where I am today, right? And showing people like how, yeah, if you stick with this, you will get better. You will get better. No, sold it for 40 British on eBay. LOL. Got you. Did those 7 Samurai in 1415. Oh, okay. So it wasn't really that long ago. So yeah, you've come a long way then. From that to your last piece you shared with us. You 100% have improved quite a bit. Yeah. That's really good. No, I like that. That's excellent. We should do that as a homework assignment for everybody. Send an email of your first piece and your last piece that you've completed. Like, we're talking the first piece you completed and the last piece you completed, or near complete kind of thing. Send me an email, please. Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It's in the description below. Send the pictures as attachments. Don't send it off as links to other sites. But yeah, send me emails. Just send pictures. The context itself is first finished piece, latest finished piece. Please. I'd love to see the comparison. Also, if you know your dates, like when that was completed versus when that was completed, just give approximates are fine. It doesn't have to be, But yeah, send me those emails, please. Gail B, I've never painted flesh before. I just wanted to make it look rough and worn rather than one smooth flat color. Also missed the Easter egg on the plate. I missed the Easter egg. Good grief, Gail. Come on, man. Easter egg on the plate. Oh. Did you just take that picture? Because we were just talking about it. Look at the plate behind it. I fucking totally missed that fucking. Look at it. Y'all see what's on that plate? Anyway. All right. So as far as that head is concerned, you said it's too shiny, right? I just read that. Yeah, the heads are very shiny. So if you like that head and all you want to do is knock that shine out, all you got to do is pick up some matte varnish. You can just buy matte spray, like just clear matte. Like go to any big box store and spray paints. Just take it, leave it on that handle thing, and then just make sure you shake that matte spray up very good if you're using a rattle can, and then just 2 pumps, just two, turn it 45 degrees or 90 degrees. Yeah, 90 degrees. Sorry, not 90 degrees. Turn it 90 degrees, 2 pump. Turn it 90 degrees, 2 pump, 90 degrees, 2 pump, 2 pump from the top, and be done. And just give it a quick little coat of matte varnish, and that'll completely knock that shine right off of it. And in fact, if you want the flesh to feel very matte, but you want the eyes to still look kind of glossy, you can always give the entire thing a matte varnish, and then with gloss varnish, pick out the eyes. Just very deliberately pick out those eyes. And that's it. If the coloring and everything like that is fine to you, and you don't want to repaint the head, you just want to knock that shine off of it, yeah, just hit it with a matte varnish. Just pick up just regular, like what is it, $4 for a can of clear matte, like Rust-Oleum or Krylon or whoever. Just make sure you give it a good shake, do it outside, and just all it takes is 2 pumps on each facing. So just if you're starting at the side of the head, 2 pumps, turn it 90 degrees so you're looking straight on at the face, 2 pumps, turn it 90 degrees so it's the other side of the face, 2 pumps, turn another 90 degrees so it's the back of the head, 2 pumps, 2 pumps from the very top of it, and that should be it. That's all you need. And you're only holding it about anywhere from 12 to 14 inches away from the spray, and that's all you do. That's all it takes, and just gonna knock that shine right off of it. Gel, if cops ask, it's just baking soda. Gel, how would you recommend I go about shading? Would Nuln oil work for the recesses? Yes, it would work, but on top of that, that flesh value that is there on the plastic. Like if you just went with the plastic, hit it with matte varnish, and then started applying paint, which you totally could do, using Nuln Oil would give you very, very dark tones. It would push the color very, very black. Versus if you use more of a flesh tone value shade wash, like for example, Reichland Flesh Shade. That's a shade wash, but it would push very dark, fleshier tones, right? It's reddier brown values. You could also use contrast paints, thin them down a little bit, and apply them and be very deliberate. Again, it's entirely how much work do you want to put in? Do you want it to look like somebody? In which case, using reference material is very important. Like for example, when I painted Henry Cavill's head or The Rock's, Dwayne Johnson's head, I was going off reference photos of their flesh values so that, you know, I was getting it somewhat accurate as far as like how they looked in the pictures. Although sometimes, you know, flesh tones in pictures can be kind of blown out. People look very, very light as opposed to what they normally would look like. Again, it entirely depends. But I wouldn't use Nuln Oil to shade the flesh. I wouldn't do that. You could, but it's going to give you a very distinct kind of look, and it might not be the look you're looking for. You might be looking for something more subtle as far as creating, you know, skin values. But again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what your goals are as far as what you're looking to do. I'm also unclear as to your understanding of technique and materials, and I'm more concerned about that big plate of Coke on your table. Ghost of Starman. I watched people do Coca-Cola for the first time recently. It was really funny. In the first 15 minutes afterwards, one of the guys spoke to me more than he had the entire 4 months I've known him. Yeah, and I'm sure he's probably like, so anyway, man, we got to go head over this way because we're going to go do this thing, and then we're going to take it, and you know what? We'd be really great. And yeah, I know. When I used to drive cab, I used to get a lot of people who were on all sorts of substances. The one that was my least favorite to deal with was the people that were on E, because they were very handsy. Dealing with people on E, man, that was annoying. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for the emails, and hopefully we came to some sort of resolution as far as what we're going to do with B-Man's sculpt. Next time, just, you know, feel free. But of course, when you guys are asking for advice, yeah, like the more information you give me, the clearer picture I can create as far as how best to help you. Gelby, it's a big figure, so I want to get it pretty detailed. Well, have you painted faces like that? Do you paint a lot of miniatures? Because, I mean, like what you know as far as miniatures are concerned, it's not that different from painting a larger scale. Like even going from like a 1:1 all the way down to a 1/48 scale, right? Like the amount of highlights and stuff like that we do diminishes. But again, it also depends on what our goals are. Like, do you want it to look cool on your shelf? Do you want it to look good in pictures? Do you want it to, you know, just clear it up? Do you want to just knock the shine off it? Like, what is your goals as far as what you're painting it for? Like, why are you painting it? Like, what is the desired result, right? What is your desired result that you want to see when you've finished all this hard work, right? So, yeah. It's a big picture, or a big figure, so I want to be pretty detailed. Right. Have you painted anything of that size to that level of detail? Because if you can paint a Space Marine head to a high detail, then that is going to be no problem. But if you've not tackled a Space Marine head and painted it to a high detail, then yes, you are going to struggle doing that action figure. But the principles are all still the same. And like I said, I did the 1/12 scale? Yeah, the 1/12 scale. For they're the Rock and Henry Cavill. God damn it, you're gonna make me get these heads, aren't you? Come here, Henry. There we go. Here's Henry. Yeah, Henry, it's Henry with a beard. Right? But yeah. I mean, like that, Well, I guess you guys can't really see that well, but if you go to my Instagram, you'll see pictures of it. And if you go to my YouTube, well, you're on YouTube. If you go to my channel, I have tutorials, fresh tips on how I painted this head. But yeah, I mean, like, it's shaded, it's highlighted, there's all sorts of values. His eyes were painted, his hair is painted, like, everything's painted. Now, is that the level of painting that you want to embark upon, but you've never painted heads before? It's going to be a bit of a challenge. You're going to make mistakes, but that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Don't be discouraged, and don't be afraid to try either. But just know that it might not turn out quite the way you thought it was. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway. Where are we? Where are we in the chat? Oh, we're done talking? Okay, we're done talking. Well, I'm done doing the show then. What time are we at here? Holy shit, we're 42 minutes OT. If you need help with a color scheme, maybe a commission painting service, you want to, show people what you're about. You just want to show off what you're working on. Maybe you need help with a particular technique. I don't know. Whatever it is, send your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It's in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all the silliness has links to all the social medias, as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We only have one rule in the Discord. Don't be a dick. That's it. That's the only rule. Don't be a dick. That's it. Pretty simple. Just like this show. Just don't be a dick. Usually. Also at wayofthebrush.com is links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com. And of course, you'll find a link for Patreon. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, this channel would not be able to continue to do what it is that I do. And so a huge thank you for everybody who is brand new and everybody for their continued support. A huge thank you. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, following, subscribing, commenting, ringing the bell, blah, 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 blah. All of that helps as well. And all it takes is a couple clicks of a button and you're helping me out a great deal. So a huge thank you to everybody who does that. Big thank you to Carl, Guymere Offer, Beer and Blood Bowl. It's his YouTube channel. Check it out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. We always take time to thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for creating the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. And so always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro, outro music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. And so always much love to my baby bro, Evan. If you're into rare comics, EB Comics, it's in the description below. Check it out. Rare. We're talking rare. Not medium rare. Not well done. Rare. Gal, of course it's okay to make mistakes. My mom made me. Simply mini painting. Now we got 2 pumps to go with 2 thin coats. 2 pumps. That's the way. Like if you watch my tutorial on using a spray primer, yeah, it's 2 pumps. It's the way I always recommend it. 2 pumps. I know. There's plenty of jokes there. Gelby, 2 pumps is all my girlfriend gets. The 2 pump chump. As fast as a 2-stroke engine. Anyway. We can go on and on and on about being premature. But we're not. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. We're going to just end the stream. So hopefully you guys, that helps. Again, you want to show off what you're working on, use the hashtag #WayOfTheBrush, or you can send me emails. Please send me emails. Keep the emails rolling. And of course, if you're sending emails, let's keep this little thing going here. Send me your first completed paint job, and your latest, right? Your earliest versus your newest, right? Just to help motivate people, just to demonstrate to people that as long as you are slowly and steadily painting and learning, you do get better. Nobody comes out first time and is awesome at this. Nobody. There's nobody on this planet who has just popped out of the womb and picked up a paintbrush and was perfect at it. Even the idea of perfection is a false thing. Ghost of Starman, speaking of two pump chumps, I saw a joke recently where a guy lasted an hour and six seconds. Shout out to daylight savings. That's a good one. I like that one. That's a good one. Write that down. Alrighty. Ooh, man. Can you guys hear my stomach? I'm hungry. I need food. Alrighty, folks. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's enjoy the rest of whatever's left of our Saturday. Let's get some painting done. Let's go hug a loved one. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's take care of somebody who might need... I'm sure you guys can hear that, right? It's my stomach. My stomach. It's my stomach. It's talking. My stomach wants to be part of the show. Stark.